You can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Temperatures getting low, but demand remains high. You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates, all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
And I'm Ryan Recker, filling in today on this Friday. It's going to be a fun Friday. Hello, guys. How are you today?
Hello, Recker. How are you?
Oh, it's so good to see your voices. Or see your faces
see your voices.
with your voices, because I'm watching you on the live stream. It's so distracting. I almost should put like a T-shirt over my computer screen so I don't stare at it the whole time. I can't help myself. It is fun seeing that on the Facebook page. We got an awful lot to talk about. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm wearing my Mario shirt today. Nice, comfortable in my basement. Ooh. It's a little muggy today, but the temperature's great with that breeze. And we'll talk to Marc Cox in about 15 minutes from now. We'll get to the poll question, Wiggins America. Want to talk Kyrie Irving next hour. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying something I agree with this time, which is kind of interesting. But first is the story from KMOV last night. Have you seen how many vehicle thefts St. Louis City and County have faced over the past couple of months?
Worse?
It is insane.
I'm going to take a wild guess here and say it's
thefts.
getting better.
Oh, yeah, exactly. If better means, let's say the goal was to get everyone on public transportation because you don't own a vehicle, then things are better because no one's going to have a car at this rate. They're saying that there are 20 cars stolen a day in the city.
Oh my gosh.
You're kidding.
That's way more than I thought. No, I would have never guessed that.
20 a day.
20 a day.
Oh. Yeah. And part of the problem is that as part of the reporting from KMOV, which I'm going to play a portion of this, number one, police don't put a high priority because you're not murdered because, okay, you're not stabbed, you're not shot. Those are the priorities, and you only have so much policing to go around when you have gone through the defund police movement in the city of St. Louis, where you just basically say no more overtime and we're not going to hire anyone else. So good luck with that. There's less police on the street. The resources aren't there. And the other side of it is, are they even prosecuting people? Because they look at it as almost like, oh, no one got hurt. They just stole a car. You're going to ruin someone's life for stealing a car. They're very sympathetic to criminals in the city of St. Louis. It's so much different in St. Charles. And part of the KMOV story is they actually talked to St. Charles. They said, no, we have a task force. We've already had 400 felony arrests for this. Like, we are going after them because we don't want our people to live in fear in St. Charles County. We don't want them to think that every time they leave their car, when they go back, it's not going to be there. You're basically going to see broken glass and a bunch of burnt rubber underneath it. So listen to this one story from KMOV, who did a great job putting this together. I thought it was eye-opening.
In St. Louis County, the number is 1,981 so far this year. But where the number is most shocking, the city of St. Louis. In the last 180 days, 3,656 cars have been stolen. That's 20 cars per day.
3,656 cars in the last 180
Ooh,
days. Oh,
wow.
my goodness. What are they doing with these vehicles? Are there Are there people that are actually buying stolen vehicles and don't know it? Is every temporary plate that is obviously a fraudulent temp plate basically a stolen vehicle at this point? Are there lots that are buying these things and creating these fake temporary tags to throw on it that go to nothing? Is that happening more often than we think?
Talking about temp tags, do you think people are still getting pulled over for like COVID era expired temp tags? Do you think there's still like a grace period for that?
It's not a grace period. It's they don't pull anyone over.
I doubt it.
Yeah. I was going to say with the stolen cars, I would imagine a lot of those are being used in other crimes and then just dumped or just joyride. You know, guys go out, they snatch them up, they joyride them, they do whatever they want. They, you know, treat them like a rental and then just dump them somewhere.
Is that how you treat rental cars, Brad?
Man, when I rent a car, I get that extra insurance because I know that car is going to see more air than a Tony Hawk skateboard.
You're looking for where you can cross railroad crossings
Absolutely.
with a little bump in it because you want a Ferris Bueller
fun.
day off it.
Dukes of Hazzard
What do you
style.
mean that's fun?
I might have tried it before.
Yeah, Hannah, I know you're part of the Jeep Club now, but here's the thing. I don't think your Jeep's made for that. We're talking Wranglers, ones that are actually built for off-roading. I don't think yours is. I would hold back a little on those tracks.
Yeah, no.
Hannah, there's a bit of a problem here. There's a reason why people's insurance under 26 is more. You are apparently the reason for that.
Oh, I was that
Maybe
reason.
this is why
You
I
apparently
needed
still
a new
are
car.
the reason that people's insurance are
Well,
higher.
I don't do that with my car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, always take your friend's car.
Oh, friend's car even. All right.
I've
So
gotten
you're
air in
playing
my
the-
grandma's car before, too.
Your grandma's car?
It was an accident that time.
How could you do that to your sweet old
Poor
grandma?
It wasn't
Granny.
on purpose, I'm telling you.
Uh-huh. KMOV, they actually looked at this from the police angle, too. Take a listen to this.
I was expecting that police will be actively searching for the car. That didn't happen.
Yep.
I can understand the police is busy. I can understand there are other emergencies.
BMW was able to track Helga Komen's car to St. Louis City. Police recovered it from this overgrown garage with minimal damage.
All right, so this was basically a camouflage garage. Two things we want to point out. When you hear her voice, doesn't her name and her voice match up? I mean, exact to the point. Her name's Helga, and she sounds like this.
I was expecting that police will be actively searching for the car. That didn't happen.
It checks out. The name and the voice together check out. But she's right. The police weren't going to help. And they have so many other things to check out. You're lucky if they even show up for a statement anymore, you know?
We just had a comment come in that says, Patrick Riley from YouTube said, my car was stolen from my garage in Kirkwood 3 years ago and the kid has still not been sentenced.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, part of it, they say, is because in the system today, if you're a minor under the age of 18, it's difficult to charge them. You can't hold them like in a holding cell or whatever because reasons. And you've seen that even in this case in St. Charles, they were showing how they were tracking in St. Charles County through a surveillance drone. The suspects, one was 13 years old. And 13. They mentioned because he's 13, you can't hold a 13-year-old. So they get right back on the street. So imagine in St. Louis, they actually put some effort in. And without the help of BMW, you know, the detectives are able to find this thing. Unlikely, but let's say there is some sort of tracking on it and it leads them exactly where the car is. If they find that it was a 13-year-old that did it, then I'm sure it's just immediately dropped. What's going to happen at a point like that? They don't even spend time on murderers, nonetheless. They're not going to pay attention to people that are stealing cars at an age like that. Because in the city of St. Louis, you have Kim Gardner, who doesn't even show up to murder cases. Like, what are they going to do with stolen vehicles?
You know what's sad is that you hear Helga talking, and there's just a resignation in her voice that says, well, I know the police are busy. Everybody understands why this is happening. It's no big surprise that they can't track these crimes down because they're so overwhelmed by bigger crime and these people going back on the streets. Nobody, like you said, Ryan, nobody's prosecuting these things. Ultimately, though, what baffles me is that we like to blame the leaders because they are doing a bad job. But there are people continuing to vote for these people. At what point, and maybe it's Tuesday for you know, the broader America on these things, but at what point do even deep blue city voters decide, you know what, this is stupid. I'm voting for people who will not fund security and now I lost my car. At what point does that happen?
Let me tell you the mentality that we run into, and I'm going to apply it to the climate change thing and the way that our society is today when it comes to high energy prices. Tell me if you've heard this argument before. Gas is $5 a gallon when it was at its peak, or gas is really high, or I'm paying more for my energy. But you know what? In the end, our world will be better because it'll force the hand for more renewable energies. Or they'll say something along the lines of, I know inflation is really bad, but hey, it's worth it's the price that we pay in order to get better as a society. Have you heard those things before?
I've read I've never heard any actual person say those things.
Yeah, okay,
I've read those things before.
My question,
essentially, essentially the journalist could be making those up. But let's just say the same thing is happening. They're going to say, well, I might have had my car stolen twice in the past 6 months, like that one YouTube viewer pointed out. Oh, I might have had my car stolen twice in the past 6 months, but overall, it's better to have Cori Bush in office in St. Louis because, the greater good of having someone on the squad and they'll stand up for what. The same mentality is there. Well, they'll say, I'm going to keep voting in these terrible politicians that do nothing and actually make my life worse because overall, it's better to have that and then my car in my parking lot garage or whatever.
Yeah, but when you talk about that, you're talking about the greater good or the progress that is to come, and these are just things that we need. At some point, you're going to have to start seeing good, and you're going to have to start seeing progress, and it's been this way for how long now? It's
a while, too long.
Yeah,
in St. Louis, forever,
years,
lifetime, generations.
I also
I
respect people who are that ideologically motivated that they'd say, I see such a greater good here that I will sacrifice between now and then a lot of things to get there. I actually respect that ideology.
I don't.
But at some point, you've got to mix your ideology with reality and see that it's not getting you to point B.
But here's the thing. Whenever you take that ideology and you say, I will sacrifice, you're not saying I will sacrifice. It's like, I think that this is important and you will sacrifice the greater good.
Well, that's the leftist mentality.
You need to sacrifice so that we can have a greater good. And you don't have that right to make that call for people. And that's what irritates me about it. And that's why I don't respect it.
Okay, let's put this in a more practical way. Let's say that you are someone that's a victim of a crime. How demoralizing is it to know that you'll always be a victim? There'll actually be no one that'll actually stand up for you in the city of St. Louis. That's got to be miserable to feel if your car's stolen twice in 6 months, or your trash isn't getting picked up, or there's a drug house down the road, or squatters there and they're not doing anything about it, or there's prostitution and Polar Pops all over the place, or there's syringes, or there's a guy overdosing down the street. Name anything that's going on, or there's someone that was shot over there, or you can't even get to point A to point B without someone hitting you because they ran a red light or whatever. Tell me that's not demoralizing to live in that situation. And at the same time, going to what Brad is saying, to think, you know what, if I just hold out another generation or two, maybe things will turn around. Yeah, right. It's not going to turn around the way things are.
Yeah, Wrecker, I was yesterday walking, beautiful day yesterday, and today is even better today, walking to get a coffee downtown. We're right downtown. So I'm walking around, beautiful buildings around, beautiful day, fall day, leaves and everything, just gorgeous. And I'm thinking there is so much potential here for St. Louis to just have so much activity and things going on. But I'm looking around and I see, a couple renovation projects happening here or there. But I'm thinking all the things you're talking about, they have such a dramatic effect up and down the line. If my car is stolen twice in 6 months, am I going to want to live in the city? Probably not. Those people leave, or they think about leaving, and are certainly not attracting new residents to downtown. And then, so new residents aren't coming in. You have less people to move into downtown. You have less people that want to invest in downtown, whether they be in restaurants and businesses or residential areas. All this stuff has an effect, and it has a pretty quick effect. And it's so unfortunate because it doesn't have to be this way. We could have a beautiful city if you just had more money being put into downtown, where you're making investors nervous about coming to downtown.
Yeah. Tell me what's riskier, parking your Kia on the street in the city of St. Louis or riding the Metrolink every day?
Ooh, I don't know. I really don't. I drive more than I ride the Metrolink, so I can't say. But part of the reason I don't ride the Metrolink is because I don't really know what's going to happen on the Metrolink.
Yeah.
So
there's problems there too. There's problems everywhere. And part of the mindset, people have grown up in certain areas, and I think North County is a good example of this. There's so many areas that if you were to talk to my dad, who grew up in Florissant, he's someone that lived there during the 60s and then, was drafted for Nam and moved to Michigan after he got out of the service. But he says the way it is today versus the way it was then, completely different area, completely different feel. And then you look at it and say, at what point do you cut your losses and say, well, neighborhood's not what it used to be. There's more crime here. Cars are getting stolen. There's more issues with violence. People aren't even stopping at red lights anymore. At what point do you say, even though I grew up in this one area, I got to move to someplace safer? At some point, people in St. Louis in these neighborhoods are going to have to come to the realization that you as one individual, if the way things are going the way they are right now, you are not going to make the difference in the city. It's just going to continue to get worse. And you can better yourself in your family's life if you were to just move out. How long is it going to take for most people to realize that?
I think it's already happening. I mean,
Yeah.
I like I said, we're right close to Washington Avenue. Washington Avenue was seeing a huge resurgence several years ago. I don't know where that's at right now because I don't go there as much, and that may be emblematic of the fact that you're not seeing as much happen there because there's been crime. There's things that I don't want to necessarily go downtown to do that I did even a few years ago, and I can't say that I'm alone in that.
I want to read this comment from Brandon from YouTube really quick. He says, I turned down job offers in downtown St. Louis because of crime and the 1% extra earnings tax. I don't go to Cardinals or Blues games anymore. There is zero police presence outside of the stadium.
Wow.
I think that's a common thing for people in St. Louis now.
Right. And the people that do travel in, and some people make this argument, they say, oh, it's so safe to ride the Metrolink, and they only mention the times when there's a Cardinals game because there's a million other Cardinals fans there. And for the most part, it's a lot safer when it's packed with people that you know aren't there to cause a problem. They're there to go to the game and back. But you travel Metrolink any other time, I don't know how many stories Elliot Davis has done on this for Fox 2, but he'll travel from as far east to west as you can and see zero security. There's people that discuss all the things they've seen on it, the drug use and the drug sale, the violence, the robberies, and there is no one to turn to because of the private policing. And even so, the ones that are security guards that are some of these platforms, they're unarmed. So they're dangerous too because, they're not, that's dangerous too because if they were to intervene, they're going to be put up against someone that's probably armed. And then what are you going to do? Wagging your finger against some guy that's pointing a gun at you? That's the problem we run into. All right, we're going to take a break. Marc Cox from the Marc Cox Morning Show is joining us with his voter's guide, and he's got a really cool raffle that's coming up that he wants to talk about. We're going to do that after the break. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Great big hill of hope for a destination.
We've got you covered on Election Day. Mark Reardon will be providing live coverage throughout the evening with special guests and analysis from the entire 97.1 team. Decision 2022 is sponsored by TR Hughes Homes and Air Comfort Service.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, did you just have your house painted? Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, no, it's actually Rhino Shield.
877-25rhino.com.
Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Marc Cox here with a real estate update and insight from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria says, look, sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in a continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as fast, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also says that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, though, it is crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold. That's why I strongly suggest you call Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Get this, Gloria is so confident she'll sell your home, she will guarantee in writing up front to sell it at your agreed to price and time frame, or she will buy it. Call her at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
I'm Howard Mackler of GetRefunds.com. You might have heard me talk about the payroll tax refund for businesses who kept employees on payroll during COVID. But today, I'm not going to do the talking. I'm letting a real Get Refunds client tell you everything.
I'm Jason Hall, owner of Washington Crab in North Carolina. We are a seafood company with a couple restaurants and a big catering operation. COVID stopped us dead in our tracks, literally having to lock our doors to follow government shutdown orders. I learned about the payroll tax refund through research of COVID relief programs. I initially asked my CPA if I was eligible for the program, and she told me no. I heard about GetRefunds.com while listening to the radio. I reached out to them, and they immediately started helping me file a claim. They quickly got me approved for a payroll tax refund, and with that capital, I kept my staff employed, and I'm weathering this recession and high inflation. If you have a business, you should go to GetRefunds.com and start your claim now.
GetRefunds.com helped their business, and we can help yours too. Go to GetRefunds.com, powered by Innovation Refunds.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You guys call it. It's sub fill-in like myself, the Manny Frey Show. I'm Ryan Recker. You can find me online. I have my social media linked at ryanrecker.com. Joining us now is host of the Marc Cox Morning Show, heard right here on this radio station. Hello, Marc Cox. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ryan. How are you doing?
Good. So great to hear your voice. And online, if you go to the website right now, you can find the Missouri voter guide for the midterms next week. This is an important and smart thing to do. I'm glad that you put this together and you take the time to explain why you vote yes or no on certain things, at least to give your reasoning for it. And I know you've done this in the past. One of the first things I wanted to ask you about is that when we hit a midterm or we hit a national election, we find that so many people swirl around the big national topics, but a lot of times those national topics really don't impact you as much as the local topics and what's on the ballot. That's why it's so important to do things like this.
Well, and you know, the other problem with that, Ryan, is that so often these statewide amendments, and there are 5 issues you'll be voting on in Missouri and one big one over in Illinois, are never fully explained on the ballot. It's usually the most you get is 2 paragraphs. Sometimes it's gobbledygook and barely explains what you're voting on. And what I try to do is just break those things down. I mean, people that listen to my show and are interested in understanding my point of view. So I'm giving you my take on these amendments and how I would vote on it. And then obviously people can make their own choice at that point. But I think it's important to know before you get there.
Right. And I think it's sometimes confusing the way certain things are worded. You don't exactly know which way the vote would go. You're like, okay, I just read that 3 times, and I'm still not sure what a yes or no does. You know, they're written sometimes in a really weird way.
Right. And you know, the thing that I tried to do here was cover those 5 issues in Missouri and the one in Illinois. And maybe people are going to be a little confused. I hope they're not. But there's an Amendment 1 in Missouri, and there's an Amendment 1 in Illinois. And I'm for the Amendment 1 in Missouri, and I'm against Amendment 1 in Illinois. So we tried to make the voter guide so that people can download it. They can print it off. It's going to be a PDF form so you can easily understand my position on these and then make your own judgment. And, you know, the one in Illinois, I know you haven't asked specifically about a specific amendment yet, but the one in Illinois is one, I had Ryan Wiggins on my show this morning talking about this. I talked to Darren Bailey about it. This is something that would take the rights of public sector unions, which only control about 7% of the population in the state of Illinois. That's the only people affected by it, and puts their right to collective bargaining in the Illinois Constitution and really elevates the bargaining rights of these unions above everything else. I mean, the legislature would have very little control over demands made by unions in these collective bargaining agreements, and it's going to lead to tax increases for sure. There's not a tax included in the bill, but if it passes, there's even a calculator at the Illinois Policy at their website where you can determine how much more money you're probably going to be paying in the next couple of years, depending on which county you live in.
Yep, 971talk.com, and right on the homepage you can find Marc Cox's voting guide. And let's go through some of these different amendments in Missouri. We'll focus on that side because that's where the Missouri amendments, I think a lot of the majority of the listening audience will be interested. Amendment 1, Marc's vote is yes. Tell us about Amendment 1.
So Amendment 1 is, as far as I'm concerned, this is really a no-brainer. This is going to allow, right now, constitutionally, the way that this was done years ago in Missouri, there were very strict limits on how the treasurer could invest state monies. This really doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. This would allow the state treasurer to invest in high-quality municipal bonds, which right now they're not allowed to do. It doesn't give any one person more power, and the Missouri legislature could pass a law to expand investment options. It basically would help the treasurer more smartly invest state money that's sitting in an account earning 1% or 2%. It's expected they could maybe rake in an extra $5 million a year in interest with this slight change. So I'm a yes on Amendment 1.
Amendment 3 is the marijuana amendment in Missouri. What do you think about that one?
All right. So I refer to this as the legalized weed amendment. It's a 38-page constitutional disaster that was written by the marijuana industry. So, I try to be honest as I can with the people that listen to my show. I am not in favor of legalized recreational marijuana. I think it's a disaster because the strength of the marijuana that's being sold these days is, 5 times what it was when your parents were getting stoned at Berkeley in the 1960s. It's a different weed these days. But setting that aside, I believe weed will be recreationally legal in most of the United States at some point. So I'm trying to take my bias and set it aside. Even if you like the idea of legalized weed, this is not the way to do it. It was written by the marijuana industry. It only favors people that are already in the business. It's going to enrich them. In many ways, it locks other people out of getting into the marijuana business because the people in the weed industry are very smart about that. And it's just unnecessary. And, it goes back and, yes, it takes away convictions of people that were convicted for minor amounts of weed over the years if no other crime was involved. That's appealing to a lot of people. But this could be done legislatively. This could be part of the Missouri Constitution. And that's why I'm a very big no on Amendment 3.
Yeah, I think that's important to point out. I've talked to different experts on this, and they like to go to the areas that have this recreational marijuana. And there's a couple of things that stand out as very alarming to me. And you could always talk about driving while high, and it's very difficult to find the right test for that. It's not like you can test for it like you would the roadside alcohol limit. But the other side is the
Right.
states and the cities that have this, the alarming, just through the roof numbers of students in schools that are expelled or suspended because of marijuana use. Anywhere you find this, those numbers go through the roof. Schools in those areas have such a difficult time controlling what's going on outside of school with these students. They're either coming in or using or showing signs of marijuana in classrooms. That's a huge deal that you have to talk about because this affects minors.
Yeah, it's a great point. I had on a police chief from Arizona last week, and she talked about some of the problems that they faced out there, including increased traffic accidents and, arrests for black market use. And it's led to a lot of problems there in Arizona. I've talked to police chiefs from Colorado who tell me the same story. I mean, I think it's going to happen. I really do think it'll happen in Missouri at some point. This is not the way to do it.
All right, Amendment 4 in Missouri. Which one is that and which way are you going?
So Amendment 4 is going to, I'm a yes on this. This is going to set a minimum funding for police departments in cities where the state has that control. So in other words, this won't affect St. Louis right now. We gave up state control of the St. Louis Police Department and turned it back over to local authorities. You could argue in an entire show, we could spend an entire show on why that's been a little bit of a disaster because of the whole defund the police effort by Mayor Tashara Jones. And eventually, St. Louis Police may be back under control of the state, at which point this probably would kick in and affect St. Louis too. But it's primarily going to affect Kansas City at this point. But they've also got a mayor out there who wants to defund the police. This would stop that. This would set a minimum amount of money in the budget that would have to be set aside for law enforcement. This is just a great idea, and we can help out our friends on the western side of the state by voting yes on this.
Yeah, I believe something similar happened in Minneapolis a couple of years ago where the city council got together and said, yeah, we're just going to stop funding the police. And what ended up happening was crime sprees like you wouldn't believe. It was like the Purge, where the citizens were out there protesting, and they even threatened to sue the city because they said, hey, it's written in our Constitution that you have to have X amount of police officers, and you're not fulfilling those things. So to have this in the Constitution to say, okay, here's what the minimum when it comes to pay for police, it's an important way, almost like a firewall, to protect people that live in a city so they're not faced with that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is they're on December 1st, legislators will start to pre-file their bills for the January session. There will be bills filed on December 1st trying to take the police in St. Louis, the St. Louis MPD, back under state control because of what's happened here in the crime rate and all of that. So I think this is a no-brainer yes on this, because eventually this is probably going to help us in St. Louis as well.
Right. Amendment 5 in Missouri has to do with the National Guard. Can you explain that one?
Yeah, this is a yes as well to me. We're one of only, I think we might be the only state, but at least we're one of only 2 states in the country that doesn't have a National Guard that is directly under control of the governor, like directly reports to the governor. A long time ago, there were some restrictions on how many government officers there could be in Missouri, and they had to eliminate a couple. So they moved the National Guard Adjutant General underneath the Department of Public Safety. All this would do is reverse that. It would move it so that the Adjutant General answers directly to the governor. It would not increase their budget. It wouldn't create a new department. It wouldn't cost the taxpayers anything. I mean, that doesn't mean everybody's budget's not going to go up at some point. It just gives the governor direct control and direct reporting authority by the National Guard, and I just think it makes sense.
Okay, that does make sense. That confuses me a little bit because I think about some of the protests in St. Louis. I thought the governor was directing the National Guard to our region when there was a threat of violence in the city. I thought that was already happening.
I think the governor has the authority to call up and enact the National Guard, but he would do so through the Department of Public Safety. Whoever his director of public safety is would then call up the Adjutant General and activate the National Guard. Yeah, I don't know that it gives the governor any additional power, but it might remove a little bit of politics from, the Adjutant General having to report to somebody other than the governor.
Right. Marc Cox joining us here. You listen to him every weekday morning. Constitutional Convention questions on the ballot, too. What are your thoughts on that?
Ryan, I know you and I both covered this over the years. There's an effort in America to hold a constitutional convention, and 2/3 of the states are going to have to vote before that happens. That is not what this is. Don't be confused when you read the ballot language on this. This is not a national constitutional convention. This is only for the state of Missouri. Every certain number of years in the state of Missouri, Missourians are supposed to vote on whether or not to reopen the state constitution and hold a constitutional convention. Each Senate district would get 2 representatives on there, and then they would look at things that might need to be changed in the Constitution. I don't have any faith, quite frankly, in this process because it's as clear as mud exactly how that would happen, and who knows how you might lose control of something like that. I'm a pretty firm no on this, and most of the legislators I've talked to are not comfortable with it either.
Gotcha. Let me kind of get what does voting day look like for you? You wake up bright and early. Are you an early ballot kind of guy, or do you go after the show and vote?
No, the polls don't open till 6, and I'm in there by 4:30 every day, so I'll have to go after work. And, I'll say one thing. You guys may have reported on this already. They released some numbers yesterday. Early, no excuse absentee voting has been going on in St. Louis County now for about a week. And the numbers that are coming in are probably pretty frightening for the Sam Page administration. In West County at the Daniel Boone Library off Clarkson, they had over 7,000 people have voted already early, and the lines have been out the door as they were again today. And in North County, a place where Sam Page needs strong turnout, they've had about 2,000. And for example, I believe I read that at Umsel, they only had about 400 early voters.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like those trends.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that bodes well for Mark Mantovani, I believe, and other Republicans who are running in St. Louis County. For people that have voted early, the turnout's been huge west and south.
That is a good sign. I like to hear that. I am no Sam Page fan when it comes to the county executive position. We look at all the corruption that we've had in the county, going back to the federal case against Steve Stenger and now Sam Page, and all the questions about him working another job and then not being able to get along with, and frankly showing no respect for the process of the county council. And then here we are today,
right.
Get an opportunity to try to set things right. I really hope for the county's sake they can do that. And those numbers are encouraging to me. I'm glad that you pointed those out. Again, Marc Cox, if people wanted to see your voting guide, they just have to go to the website?
Yeah, 971talk.com, and it's pinned right to the top of the page. It's also on my Facebook page, Ryan, so they can go there. I pinned it up to the top, and they can download it. And, agree or disagree, I think you'll come away with a little better understanding of what these issues are, and that's what I'm after. I think that's important.
Yeah. Brandon on the video stream said he's shared your guide for several elections. He does a great job explaining the issues. So I know a lot of people get good use out of these. Marc Cox from the Marc Cox Morning Show. Thank you for coming on today.
Hey, Ryan, do we have time to talk about the raffle for Respond to Rescue?
I forgot. Yes, please do.
Yeah. So let me mention this real quick. Every November, I try to raise money for first responders. And what we've done is with this year, we're partnering with Responder Rescue. They have the backs. They help pay bills and mortgages and doctor bills and stuff for first responders that have been injured on the job. Last year, we raised $25,000 by helping them run this raffle. And our friends at the St. Louis Range donated a rifle last year, and we raised $25,000. This year we have $3,000 prizes. We have a basket of bourbon with a lot of really name brand bourbons like Blanton's and E.H. Taylor and Eagle Rare. All the bourbon drinkers will recognize all those. They're hard to get. There's a basket full of them. I'm probably going to have 10 or 12 bottles in this basket by the time it's over with. There's a local cigar lounge called Lit Cigar has donated a $600 box of cigars. And then, of course, there's the gun that the Range is donating, which is an Angstead Arms UDP-9 pistol, which is worth about $1,600. So I'm calling it my ATF rally. It's the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms rally. For a $10 ticket, or if you buy 5, you get 6 tickets. You're entered to win. You can buy as many as you want. There's no limit on the number of tickets. All the money goes to Respond to Rescue, and we're going to draw it on November 23rd. You got plenty of time left to buy as many tickets as you want, and you go to 971talk.com/talks. You can enter there. If you go to respondtorescue.org, you can enter there. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. Or if you go to the Range St. Louis West out in Baldwin, you can buy tickets in person, or you can go to their website, therangestl.com.
So what's it going to take to shave your head again?
That is not in the raffle this year, Ryan.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
haven't forgotten. Okay.
I'm hanging on to my hair this year. Thank you.
Marc Cox Morning Show. Go get a link to it right on the 97.1 Talk homepage. You can get a link on Marc Cox's social media pages as well. Thank you for joining us here today.
You bet, Ryan. Thank you.
And I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey. Wiggins America right after the break on 97.1 FM Talk.
What's that sound? Here she comes, full blasting top down. Hot shoe.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Don't you know she's coming home with me? You lose her in return. I'll get her.
Today is November 4th, and the midterm elections are just 4 days away. Tune in for full coverage on your home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
The Diamond Shop online at thediamondshop.net. Become a VIP quickly by visiting thediamondshop.net, and you will understand why so many people have made the Diamond Shop their destination for jewelry. If you are looking for somebody in the business who understands what you are looking for, when they're willing to listen to you, to understand what you are seeking out, that they can pair you with something they have in their Clayton shop right now that is exactly what you're looking for, or if you want something custom made. They have 6 months, same as cash financing. This makes your pursuit for that perfect piece for yourself or for a loved one a much easier process to manage. And if you want to become a VIP, you can do so online at thediamondshop.net. Get special access to merchandise and discounts through their website right now. Go see my friends in Clayton, been around since 1910 at the Diamond Shop. They are trustworthy people, they care, and they are the very best at what you do. My family goes to the Diamond Shop, and I bet you'll love the fact that they are there to be your family's jeweler as well. TheDiamondShop.net.
Marc Cox here. Prices on just about everything are still rising, but thanks to my friends at CarShield, I don't have to worry about how much it'll cost to fix my car when it breaks down. Their price will never go up, and they help handle everything. That's why I love CarShield. When I locked my keys in my car on vacation, CarShield was there for me because they offer roadside assistance with every protection plan at no extra cost. When my car radio started acting up, I got it replaced because CarShield covers those things under my protection plan. When you need a repair, you don't have to deal with the paperwork or the headaches. You just choose the mechanic to do the work, and CarShield administrators handle the rest. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down. They can have yours too. Get coverage like I did. Go to carshield.com/Cox or call 800-391-8888 to save 10% on your plan. That's carshield.com/Cox. Alexi
Giannoulias' past is littered with scandals, fiscal mismanagement, and shady behavior. As state treasurer, he lost over $150 million of college savings funds with risky investments. And his family bank was seized after loans were made to Russian mafia members.
I'm Dan Brady, and I have a plan to improve the Secretary of State's office by cutting wait lines, increasing senior services, and reducing license plate renewal fees. We need someone we can trust as our next Secretary of State, and that's me, Dan Brady.
Paid for by friends of Dan Brady.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
He sent me to.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Marc Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Marc Cox Morning Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling and Insulation Studio. Make sure your furnace is ready to safely heat your home this fall. For heating service, repairs, or a new HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I had a feeling you get with a song like that. The mix master himself, Ryan Wiggins.
That's with you. There it is.
Oh, Wiggins!
Yeah. Nice timing.
Whoa, we had a lot going on there.
Yeah, I was doing like the full on acting like I was turntables and everything. If you're not watching the YouTube live, then you don't have any idea what you were missing.
You are missing out.
I was
Or
so
not.
focused on the song, I forgot that we were doing your segment.
Well, he tossed to you pretty quick there, so record, I'm going to put that on you.
All right. That's fine.
All right. Well, we don't have a whole lot of time, and that's good because my question is actually pretty simple. There is there's a headline rolling around right now that I saw it and it made major news. It's kind of the top of Fox News. You know, it's rolling around right now because it's political and it's pop culture and it's everything that X's and O's is going to be at 2:00 actually. But this question will not make that list because it was just so dumb. Oprah Winfrey has decided to endorse John Fetterman for Senate over her friend who she launched his career, Dr. Oz, which is why it's making news. It's like, ooh, it's dramatic. But when I saw it, I thought, does this really matter? Does anybody care about this? And maybe I'm wrong and somebody does, but I can't see this having a huge impact, Wrecker. Do you think Oprah's word is going to change things?
It's probably not what it used to be. I think when she endorsed Barack Obama, they said, oh, that's such a big deal, right? Oh, we're going to put it behind. But I think she also endorsed Hillary Clinton, and that didn't work out either. So it could go either way. But when it comes to a Senate race in Pennsylvania, does she have a lot of sway in Pennsylvania? And is she still a big name anymore? Because I couldn't tell you anything she's doing.
That's a great question.
I'll tell you what, I think she thinks she does. I think she thinks that she's a big deal and that everybody listened to her.
First time I've heard her name in forever. I don't care what she thinks.
Well, that's why I wonder, because I don't think that it's not going to make a difference in our circles. But I just, outside of this, general question, even bigger here is, do endorsements make a difference at all? Is there anybody that you would consider their endorsement to impact your vote at all at this point?
Trump endorsement.
Well, that's my question. I mean, is he the only one, or does his endorsement matter? Well,
like for me, I think there are politicians out there, there are higher, people out there that I respect. I don't know that I would necessarily vote for somebody because they said, hey, you should vote for this person. But if I were leaning toward a candidate and they came out and they're like, hey, I'm not a big fan of this candidate because of X, Y, and Z, that might change my vote a little bit. But I don't know that it would help me vote for, but one against. Or on the opposite, like if somebody like Liz Cheney's out there saying, don't vote for this person, I'm kind of the mind is like, oh, I should probably vote for this person.
Yeah. You find
I
out.
saw pictures of Will Ferrell out with Beto O'Rourke in Texas, and I thought, what is Will Ferrell doing? Like that didn't sway many people. And if I saw that, I wouldn't say, oh, I guess I'm voting for Beto O'Rourke now. In the case of Oprah Winfrey, she made her living interviewing people. You think it would be infuriating for her to sit down with a Fetterman and just try to have an hour-long conversation with him? Her being a professional, and I don't even think she can make him sound good. Like that would be a disqualifier for me if I was professional like Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems as if with her, it's obviously she was friends with Oz, so that's why this is making news. I think more than even Oprah's clout, it's that she turned on somebody whose career she launched. But I think the bigger answer to the question of is there anybody whose endorsement you support or would actually trust here, the only person I can think of is Trump at this point, and it's only because it's not because he was a celebrity or he was even the president. It's because the people who seem to be in charge view him as such a threat, they come after him so hard that I think, he must not be part of those circles and must be a threat to those circles. So people he endorses would probably be in that same vein. Therefore, I would trust his endorsement a little bit more than anybody else's. But he's about it.
Yeah, I also think that if you're Oprah, wouldn't it just be better to sit this one out? And if you're a celebrity, why do you feel the need to try to endorse someone for a Pennsylvania Senate seat to begin with? Mostly because you could easily have not said anything, but the pressures to stay along party lines got to be just tremendous right now when all of the high-profile people, I'm guessing to the point where even former President Barack Obama is making phone calls to high-profile people like Oprah to pressure them to try to get them to put their name behind a terrible candidate.
Yeah.
At some point, you just have to say, no, I think I'm going to stop. No, okay, I get it. You want him to win. You don't want to lose the Senate. I understand there's a lot at stake, but I can't do it for him.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. They just have to stick around those party lines.
And I think they think that their endorsement probably means more than it does. Because when you're surrounded by yes people, which most celebrities are, all you hear is positive, oh, yeah, you're making a huge difference. Oh, good for you, Oprah.
I'll copy and paste for you. All right, coming up after the break, Kyrie Irving makes an apology. I want you to hear this apology. Coming up, 97.1
Paid for by Blaine for Congress.
I'm Blaine Lutkemar, and I approve this message.
We've seen some price increases. Some folks have raised worries that this could be a sign of persistent inflation. But that's not our view.
Reality is, inflation is now at a 40-year high, costing the typical family over $700 more every month just to stay even. That's the Biden extremist tax you pay every day. You pay it at the gas pump because of the extremist war against American energy, shutting down pipelines and using red tape to stop new development. You pay it in the devastation in your retirement account. You pay it in the border crisis and out-of-control crime wave. And now, they've driven America into a recession. Our most powerful weapon to stop them is our vote. It's in our hands to stop the damage they're doing to our families and America. November 8th, vote.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It's like an international cavalry for Ukraine's electric grids after devastating Russian attacks affecting power and water service to millions of Ukrainians.
The G7 agreed to create a new coordination group to help repair, restore, and defend Ukraine's energy grid, the very grid that President Putin is brutalizing.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken at a G7 meeting in Germany says they'll also focus more security support on helping Ukraine protect against the attacks, including by strengthening air defenses. The Pentagon announcing another $400 million in U.S. security assistance today. The founder of the right-wing Oath Keepers group says he's a patriotic American and that his group is peaceful. Federal prosecutors say Stuart Rhodes and several co-defendants were preparing for violence and plotted an armed rebellion to stop the peaceful transfer of power. Rhodes taking the stand at their seditious conspiracy trial over the Capitol riot, describing President Biden's victory as unconstitutional and invalid. Defense attorneys say there was no plan to attack the Capitol. The FBI says the source of a broad online threat against synagogues in New Jersey has been identified and is no longer a danger to the public, though investigators have not confirmed any arrest. A source telling the Associated Press the man was questioned by law enforcement and told agents he had been bullied in the past and harbored anger toward Jewish people.
In a Thursday Twitter post, the FBI's Newark office told people to, quote, stay alert and to take security precautions to protect synagogues and their communities. It comes as incidents of anti-Semitic bias and violence have been on the rise in the U.S.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers, the Anti-Defamation League, says known incidents of harassment, vandalism, and assault at Jewish institutions nationwide last year were up 61% over 2020. America is listening to Fox News.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall? Well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast for this afternoon. It'll be partly sunny, breezy, and warm. Our high today, 81. Cloudy, windy, and warm. Rain tonight, some of that could be heavy, along with a thunderstorm late tonight, low down to 56. For tomorrow, a bit of morning rain. Otherwise, clouds and sun, windy day, high 63. Sunny Sunday, the high 70. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Decision 2022.
Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes on 97.1 FM Talk.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Alexi Janulius' past is littered with scandals, fiscal mismanagement, and shady behavior. As state treasurer, he lost over $150 million of college savings funds with risky investments. And his family bank was seized after loans were made to Russian mafia members.
I'm Dan Brady, and I have a plan to improve the Secretary of State's office by cutting wait lines, increasing senior services, and reducing license plate renewal fees. We need someone we can trust as our next Secretary of State, and that's me, Dan Brady.
Paid for by friends of Dan Brady.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Cammack. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Cammack. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Cammack, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Cammack. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Cammack. ClammackAutoGroup.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. If having turkey for the holidays, buy from a local farm, get one labeled USDA organic or certified humane. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
And I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Frey. Thank you for sticking around with us here on this Friday. And we're going to have, I think, a fun X's and O's scheduled for next hour. I'm actually really looking forward to that
I'm
one.
excited for it.
It's going to be a blast. It really is. It's going to be awesome.
This will be the first time I participated in it. And
and let me warn you a little bit ahead of time with this, Ryan. This one, for some reason, I think it's because it's the week heading into midterms. The questions that I have, they seem to be just a little harder. I didn't have,
Ryan.
I didn't have as much. It was like the source material wasn't as broad as usual. There's always a lot going on. This way, it was like everything was midterms. So I had to really dig to try to find good questions. I think I got good questions, but
okay.
Let me tell you what he told me off air. He was like, this one with Ryan Recker being in there, I'm going to make these questions really difficult.
I'll go make them real hard. Okay, good. Let's bring it on. I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, you have no frame of reference, so it doesn't really matter.
So these questions are just going to be normal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm used to the hard-hitting questions from my wife, so bring it on, Ryan Wiggins.
All right, let's do it.
Have you been following this whole Kyrie Irving anti-Semitic tweet thing that got him suspended for 5 games?
I got to tell you, I have not.
I know that it happened. I don't know what the tweet was or anything like that.
I don't have a single clue.
Yeah, essentially, Kyrie Irving's a basketball player. He was on the Cavaliers. Now he's with the Nets, I believe. And he tweeted out an Alex Jones documentary that talks about, I guess, power. And I haven't seen the documentary. I don't know much about it. But when you have Alex Jones associated with it, it's going to be controversial. And part of this documentary was talking about secret societies or whatever it is. And apparently it brings up the idea that the Jews run the world or something. And so Kyrie Irving tweets this out. And a lot of people rightfully pointed it out, saying this is kind of anti-Semitic. You know, you're playing along these lines of, you know, the Jewish world domination idea. And that's been used, I mean, abused and brought up in so many different ways, and wrong. It's totally wrong to bring it up. So Kyrie Irving tweets it out. And a lot of people are wondering, why are you retweeting Alex Jones to begin with? This is a little bit weird. So he came out and apologized. The NBA suspended him for 5 games. And he was asked about it during a recent press conference about, hey, why are you messaging Alex Jones? I wanted to play for you his response, and I want you to tell me if this is the right way to approach the topic. So imagine it's the end of the game. He's sitting up there, press are answering or asking him questions.
My post was a post from Alex Jones that he did in the early 90s or late 90s about secret societies in America of occults, and it's true. So I wasn't identifying with anything of being a campaignist for Alex Jones or anything. I'm just there to post. And it's funny, and it's actually hilarious because out of all the things I posted that day, that was the one post that everyone chose to see. It just goes back to the way our world is and works. I'm not here to complain about it. I just exist.
And to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book.
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
Put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me in front of the
By putting it out there, people are going to say that you are
promoting. Yeah, put it out there just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but it's not.
You put things out there for a living, right?
Right, but my stuff is not.
So let's move on.
Filled with anti-Semitic.
Let's move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing that.
Another human being. I can post whatever I want. So say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that
I don't have to understand anything from you.
It's not me.
Nothing.
It's
no people that you're making up, bro. Move on.
But by posting
move
what
on.
you
Next
did,
question.
Anybody
Do you guys have any more questions?
And they're going to say,
"You guys have any more questions?" Because this is going to be a clip. This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
But you're not answering the question.
Oh, this is another answering your question. Oh my God! Let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Kyrie basketball.
All right, so that was part of the back and forth. Tommy, that got a little heated. Okay, so it's an interesting answer to a question regarding something that he was putting out there. So there's a couple of parts here. If you tweet out a documentary or an article or anything else, are you promoting it? So think about you and your Twitter and your Facebook or whatever it is. If you're commenting on something, if you're retweeting something, if you're posting an article, if you're sharing something, do you feel like you're endorsing it? And is that a fair criticism for Kyrie Irving for something like this?
I don't know. Not everything that I retweet is an endorsement. It's just, this is interesting. I'll maybe even say that in the quote. You know what's weird, though, is that what I'm hearing from you right now from this clip, this is literally all I know about this story. I have not followed this story at all. Right. What that journalist was saying to him, well, you're free to promote, you're free to blah, blah, blah. No, you're not. That journalist is wrong. You are not free to do whatever you want. He just got suspended for 5 games for doing that. That's not freedom. That's what drives me crazy about this. Again, I have no idea what this documentary is. No idea. I don't even know who Kyrie Irving is, to be honest with you. Apparently, he's a basketball player.
Yeah, he was someone that was criticized because he refused to get the vaccine early on, and they refused to allow him to play because, New York.
Well, he could play on the road, but he couldn't play in home games.
That was him. Okay, yeah.
So he had some criticisms there. I think he also believes the earth is flat, so he's a flat earther or something. So he's got some interesting views. And I think the league gave him a chance to backtrack and apologize, considering he was just tweeting out a documentary, and that was just a part of it that was questionable. And he really, didn't backtrack too much on it. So they said at least 5-game suspension. It could be more. The way that you phrase this, though, I don't think you necessarily promote everything that you tweet. You can have comments on things. And then it's, I think, really important to point out that sometimes you tweet or put things on Facebook that you don't know the full context. You only know a small amount, just like this whole Kyrie Irving thing. You may kind of get the surface idea of what's going on, but you may comment on this and not know the full extension of what was being discussed. So they may assume that you know certain things that you don't. And because of that, they take those assumptions as an endorsement to things that you don't actually endorse. I almost sympathize with Kyrie Irving a little bit, but then at the same time, in the back of my mind, I know better than to retweet Alex Jones. I wouldn't want to necessarily put my name on something he's done because I think I know a little bit better. You have to show discretion.
Yeah, but I don't like anything about this story because first of all, he retweets a link to this documentary or this whatever from Alex Jones.
Right.
So is that endorsing everything in the movie? If I retweet a link to a movie, am I endorsing every single thing in that movie? There's no way that that's true.
Well, I think that depends on whether or not you retweet it or you quote tweet it. Because whenever you quote tweet it, you can add context to why you're doing it, which is probably a pretty good practice. But if you retweet it, what you're doing is allowing people to infer what context there is. And most people just retweet stuff that they like.
And so that's my point, is that he retweets something. And I don't know whether he said, I fully endorse everything in this movie in the retweet or what, I don't know. But if you retweet or repost whatever platform a link to something else, are you automatically associated with everything in that thing? That's ridiculous. And the NBA is saying, yes, you do. You are associated with every single thing in that movie now because you pressed play for others to see. And now you're suspended over it? That's ridiculous.
Let me point out in politics what you see, and there was a country artist that recently played a charity event down in Florida for hurricane relief. And I can't remember the country artist's name, but essentially he was asked to do it. Luke Bryan. Okay. He was asked to go perform, and very popular, and people criticized him. How dare you go and answer Ron DeSantis, because he's running for governor. It could be controversial in a lot of different ways. He's probably going to run for president of the United States as well. And DeSantis, and when they assume that you are doing something for charity, even, they'll look at DeSantis and they'll say, they'll take their preconceived notions of DeSantis and say, you hate women, you hate fill in the blank, you're blah, 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 blah. So they'll do that and they'll project it on you because you're doing something adjacent to someone that's controversial. And I wondered how much of that was going on. I wondered if people were just upset because, obviously they probably haven't seen the documentary, but, at least I know a headline, and I can understand that a headline can be bad for people. Do people even know what they're upset about?
I just this whole thing is astonishing to me, and I'm doing this in real time because I'm kind of finding it out like as we go here. But what the point of free speech, and we've been having this conversation for a while now, especially with the Elon Musk stuff and Twitter. The point of free speech is that speech can exist that you disagree with, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Now the question is, because it's not the government that's punishing Kyrie Irving here. It is his employer, essentially.
Yeah.
So the question is with freedom of speech, are you free from consequences from your employer? And the question is, too, at what point, as a celebrity, Kyrie Irving, basketball player, athlete, that sort of thing, at what point is he no longer representing the Brooklyn Nets and the NBA, or is he always representing the Brooklyn Nets and the NBA, and anything that he tweets, can be construed as that? Or does the company have the right to look at this and say, you know what, we don't really want that nonsense in our house, and you're not going to say it in our house, and they suspend him or kick him out or whatever?
The anti-Semitism side of it, with just recently Kanye West, who had these certain tweets, and that pretty much crumbled his empire. So many different sponsors left him because of some of the things he said. And, now things like this. It's weird to have so many anti-Semitic stories in headlines with celebrities at one given time. Isn't it a little strange? Like normally you'd see one every year, basically, and now it's like, wow, we've had two in the past couple weeks. So what's going on with that? Is there anything behind the scenes I don't know about? Is there some kind of underground motive or some storyline that I don't know about? Because it just seems weird. There's so many of them recently.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it certainly seems to be percolating. It had to start with Kanye, right? I mean, he kind of kicked that football, and then sort of everybody's running behind it.
Brought other people out to comment on it or whatever it is. How do you think he handled that press conference? So basically told the person that, I'm not out here promoting anything, so I'm not even going to bother commenting on it anymore. That's kind of, I think that's a good way to handle when there's like some sort of hostile press.
Bad for it. I don't think he was apologizing. I didn't get that from the interview. Did you?
So he said the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He said it was true. So he didn't apologize at all.
Now, there's people defending Kyrie Irving on social media right now. Do you want to guess the basic reason of why they're defending him? I think it'll shock you. It's kind of a strange turn.
Well, I would have said the free speech angle, and where do you draw the line with consequence? And pretty much Brad would just said it. I mean, he made a very good case for what the argument would be. I would think that would be it, but it sounds like maybe not.
So the case that is being made by many on Twitter right now, and there's a hashtag I stand with Kyrie, the idea that they're persecuting him because he's black. They're saying that the reason why they're bringing this up, and they wouldn't do it for anyone that's white, is there's racial reasons of why they would try to jump on him and to cancel him for something like this. This is a strange time we live in right now, isn't it? There's so many of these racial issues that are starting to boil over again. I wouldn't have expected that there would be this sort of like racial subtone with, everything that is going on. But then again, midterms are next week. This could be some sort of intentional manipulation that's going on in order to try to sway people one way or another.
Very interesting. I did not. I didn't see that one coming. No, I
didn't either.
Like I said, I have not been following this story very closely, so pretty much everything you've said for the last 15 minutes has been news to me.
Brand new, yeah. And then that's kind of the way things go in trending. Do you think ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter that you're starting to see more of these things pop up, like people are testing the waters to see what they can get away with? You think there's a little bit of that going on?
I'm sure there's some people doing that. I don't think this particular story is that. Certainly, I've seen people that I follow just start posting conspiracy theories. They may not even believe in them, just to test whether they're going to get banned now, just to see. So I'm sure that's there, but I don't know that this particular story is associated with that.
Have you noticed a difference in your Twitter feed, Ryan?
What's that?
Have you noticed a difference in your Twitter feed since Musk took over?
Kind of, but I have seen the people purposely saying, let's see if this will stay. They'll purposely disclose they're doing it to test out if there's any changes to Twitter's algorithms. And it's almost like they purposely are asking to get suspended, but hoping they don't. They want to know where the new line is. I have seen people try something like that in the past when they would normally be punished for things along the same nature, but not getting punished now. I think that's for them trying to find the new line. But it's just so strange that the rise of anti-Semitism and people feeling more freely to go out and say certain things and, support certain ideas. It's just such a strange world. It's like things like this would normally have been just kicked away almost immediately in the past. Now are getting now we're actually getting the light of day and people are debating it. It's just such a strange time. And I don't know how much social media has to do with that. I don't know how much pop culture has to do with that, where you have someone as popular as Kanye West bring it in and people start to consider it or maybe think it's okay to debate those certain things. But all I know is sometimes there's certain lines where people hide behind and they just wait for the opportunity to jump in front of it. And I think we're seeing a lot of that today. And it's just kind of frightening because it makes me believe there's a lot more people standing close to the line than they are way behind it when it comes to some of their beliefs. I don't know. It's just such a strange world. Let's take a break. When we come back, I saw a comment from Marjorie Taylor Greene regarding the whole Paul Pelosi deal in California, in San Francisco. If you remember, the attacker that went in with the hammer in his house. Real scary moment. Marjorie Taylor Greene had a comment about it at a rally, which was kind of interesting. We're going to talk about that after the break. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Andy Frey, 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
We're going to have a lot of fun, I think, on election night. Brad Young will be with me, former Senator Lamping, Marc Cox, Annie will all drop in on next Tuesday night.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
The first thing you're going to have to learn is that until you stop expecting our politicians or anyone else to change your life isn't going to change. The only person going to change your life is you, but you need to know how.
Want to learn how? Meet Del Wamsley's Lifestyles Unlimited team and get your map to retirement in 5 years or less. Saturday and Sunday, November 5th and 6th in St. Louis. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Hi, this is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. Leaving your ash trees unprotected from the emerald ash borer may lead to an unforeseen rapid decline in their health. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-600-5536. That's 1-800-600-5536. 1-800-600-5536.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Planning a road trip this fall? Maximize your fuel economy by inflating tires to proper pressure and packing light. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Hey, it's Bo Matthews for Reinhold Electric. Whether it's residential or commercial, call on Reinhold when you have any issues with your power to your heating sources. If you are installing a new electric heating system, call on Reinhold. And when it comes to decorating your house, make sure you get a hold of Reinhold for extra outlets in front of your house or behind your house. We've all seen Christmas Vacation. It ends very badly. Unless you have the folks at Reinhold Electric get you the power you need. Call them at 314-631-1158 or online at ReinholdElectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
This is The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I got in trouble with my wife this morning that I want to talk about it next segment. I started watching a movie I didn't know she wanted to watch. So I watched it this morning when she was still sleeping. And now she's like, I wanted to watch that with you. And I'm in trouble. So maybe we'll talk about that in the next segment.
Ooh, okay.
You've probably seen a million ads for this movie. It's nonstop advertised. It's the Weird Al movie. Have you seen the ads for it?
I haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Daniel Radcliffe.
I am super interested in this movie. So where is it at?
It's on Roku. So it's one of those the streaming websites. You can watch it for free. So I get up early. You know, I'm the old man that gets up at 5. And I think, okay, great. What am I going to watch? Oh, my wife wouldn't like this. So I start watching it. Oh, as it turns out, now she's upset because I saw it. But we'll talk about that in the next segment. The Marjorie Taylor Greene thing with the Paul Pelosi, she was at a rally and she brings up a point. And normally I don't talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's another one of those controversial politicians. I try to just stay out of it. I'm like, I don't want any. This is too hot. I don't want to play around with this. Like the people that love Marjorie Taylor Greene are normally like very intense. And I'm like, no thanks. No thanks. But she said something during one of her rallies that I actually agree with.
Paul Pelosi was brutally attacked by a drugged out illegal alien that should have been deported. And Paul Pelosi should have been a gun owner and shot his attacker.
Okay, so the whole thought is, now if you go back to the attack that happened, you have someone that is overstaying his visa. He's a Canadian citizen, should have been out of the country because, you overstay the visa by a decade. That's a long time. But when you're in San Francisco, they don't really care. He breaks into the house and has a hammer and is talking about like, I just want to break Nancy Pelosi's knee, so I'm going to hurt Paul, and I'm going to wait for Nancy to show up. Real crazy talk. So Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out and says, Paul Pelosi should have just shot him. Like, you have an intruder in your house, you shoot the attacker. And I thought to myself, yeah, I mean, that would have solved a lot of things. When she brings this up, a lot of people at first, when they were talking about the Paul Pelosi thing, there was a lot of like conspiracy theories about what was going on there. But I think it was a pretty straightforward. This guy's demented, broke into the house, wanted to threaten a high-profile person, and then hurt another high-profile person. And it was a real sad, scary situation that the person was able to get as far as they did into the person's bedroom while the guy was sleeping with a weapon. Very, very scary. It makes me go back and look at this and say, maybe this was the right approach. Maybe the right approach to handle a story like this is maybe you take seriously people that are overstaying their visas, that have a troubling track record to begin with. And maybe if there's an intruder in your house, you take care of that intruder before they threaten your life. I don't think that's unreasonable.
I mean, just from a standpoint, let's remove the names from the equation here. If you're talking about a man is asleep in his bed, somebody breaks into his house and starts to attack him with a hammer,
yeah,
and he has a firearm, would you not expect him to shoot that person?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
good way to put it.
I sleep with a pistol next to my bed. I don't. I live in a nice neighborhood. I don't expect somebody to break in, but I am not going to get caught off guard. I'm going to be prepared for that situation. And I mean, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene saying it, so I understand why people freak out about it. But really, if you just break it down to the brass tacks of what she said, if somebody breaks into your home intent on doing harm and maybe possibly killing you, because Paul Pelosi ended up in the hospital with a fractured skull, and it's an awful and horrible attack.
Oh, yeah.
People should be able, I mean, it's not a crazy idea to think that somebody could protect themselves with a firearm.
Yeah, the hard part of this is that you're kind of unique because you don't have any kids in the house. So I think about if someone were to break into my house, you have special considerations because you lock the weapon away. You want to make sure the kids don't get into it. There's a lot more steps that have to happen. So if someone's standing over you in your bed, it's probably too late to grab the thing unless you're, no kids and you got it right there by the nightstand. So if you want to fight someone off, I mean, you're basically going to have to fight the person off with your bare hands unless you can get away from them. What an absolute scary situation. But I think she's right to say that people should have the ability to defend themselves. And that is the best case scenario, is to defend yourself, even when you have to use lethal force, because the person that's breaking into your house could very well be using lethal force against you or your family. And that's the worst case scenario when you're talking about one of your family members getting hurt. You just can't have that.
Yeah, this one is I think you're right in saying remove the names, just make it an average situation. And I don't know who really would deeply in their gut disagree with that. You might want to make a political argument, but ultimately you go, hey, you got to protect yourself, your family. This one is, you almost have to take it a step further though, because this wasn't a random attack. Yeah. If what we're being presented with is the full factual truth, this was a politically motivated attack. So he was breaking in, trying to find somebody. He didn't care about Paul so much. Where's Nancy? If all that's the facts, then you would think that actually, and I'm taking Brad's argument actually a little bit further and saying that Paul Pelosi would have a greater motivation to have some sort of protection, to have a weapon or whatever at his disposal, because he would be considered a higher target for these kind of things.
Do you think this would change the attitude of some people in San Francisco if they were very much against guns? And, in areas like this, you have a very liberal-leaning community. I mean, if they keep electing Nancy Pelosi, sure, you can kind of get an idea. Do you think this might have some people second-guessing their protection in their homes, saying, yeah, things are getting so bad that even heavily guarded areas that are being monitored and watched and have these sort of defense mechanisms already in place, even they are having issues? Do you think they might look at that and say, maybe it's time I take things into my own hands, and Marjorie Taylor Greene may actually be right here, and I think I need to find better ways to defend myself?
Well, I saw a couple comments come through as I was talking, just saying, well, you really can't do that in California. A lot of these things that we're talking about that are rational, normal behaviors that a person would take, they're either completely outlawed or they're difficult to do in California. So does something like this make somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who's clearly on the left, would that make somebody like her reconsider her positions? Publicly, I think the answer is no. But I mean, we're talking about kind of gut level stuff here. You know, stuff that you think about when you're going to bed at night. Does that make you or even somebody like that reconsider their positions?
I thought, oh, go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
I was going to say, I don't know. I mean, when people are entrenched in an ideology, they're entrenched in an ideology, and it's near impossible to break them out of that ideology. And you get into that with the, Second Amendment, with personal firearm use and all that other stuff. There are people out there that don't just believe that people shouldn't have guns. They believe that guns are evil. And so to have guns in your house is to have evil in your house. And it's like, it doesn't matter. They're like, oh, well, that was unfortunate, but, I still wouldn't have done it.
Let me bring out this comparison and see if you think this plays, because this normally happens after a tragedy when there's gun violence. And let's say the person was pro-Second Amendment and believes in the right to bear arms and the protections that are given to Americans when it comes to firearms. Then a family member of theirs dies because of gun violence. And they'll say, see, this is what you get when you have the freedom to have a Second Amendment. So we need to really, finally, you're going to see it my way. And then most of the time people don't see it their way. They say, okay, no, I still believe in the Second Amendment. I believe that it was the criminal that was irresponsibly using that tool of a gun. And I'm not going to get onto your ideology that says we need to take away guns in order to prevent things like this from happening. Do you see that as the same argument as in, you're talking about Nancy Pelosi? She's not going to backtrack. She's still going to keep the same ideology.
I mean, really, in all honesty, I sit here and I listen to that argument, and the question is it the person using, like you said, well, the pro-gun advocate would be like, well, was the person using the gun, right? Guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's the old phrase that gets thrown out there all around.
Right.
And it's not wrong. I mean, really, honestly, you set a firearm on your counter, and if nobody ever touches it, it's not just gonna go off. It has to, somebody has to wield it, and it's their intention on how they wield it and that sort of thing. But no, I don't know that it's the same argument. And the reason I say that is because, you're talking about somebody setting out to do harm versus somebody who is at home setting out to defend themselves against somebody who had set out to do harm against them.
Yeah. You know what I think the big difference here is that you're basically advocating, if you're in San Francisco, if you're Nancy Pelosi, to say that we shouldn't be enforcing immigration laws, or we should be looking at this. And this is where I think the argument becomes a little bit different, because in one way, you're looking at it and saying that we shouldn't be deporting people. We shouldn't be looking at overstayed visas. We need to be more passionate as a people, so we need to keep people in. I think that laws are on the books to prevent people from committing crimes with guns, and these laws need to be enforced. But when you flip it to the other side, they're basically saying we shouldn't be enforcing our laws. We shouldn't be enforcing immigration. So it opens the door to people like Nancy Pelosi, who will continue to say, well, we need to be more passionate, even if it means that we get victimized by people that shouldn't be in the country to begin with. And I think this goes back to something we talked about in the first hour. It's almost like the stolen car scenario. Well, we need to just be able to suck up people stealing our cars because the greater good is that we're able to change as a society. This is the same thing. We need to suck up to people breaking into the homes once in a while, because if they're an illegal alien that's doing it and someone that overstayed their visa, then ultimately we need to be more passionate to allow those things to happen, because the greater good is that we allow them in. It's kind of this mentality that we need to ignore laws. Even when you become a victim of ignoring a law, they continue to advocate for ignoring the law, which boggles my mind.
You know what's crazy is we did a video record called Hannah Can Help. It was the car horn, and she drives around. Well, anybody could drive around. They hit the horn, and it says a political message out of their window. And so we're doing these videos and stuff. I was thinking about doing a video about this, and I don't know that I'm gonna have time to do it. We're right in the midterm, so that's one of the reasons I'm not filing the Kyrie Irving story. Is I've been so deep in midterm data dives and stuff like that. But I was thinking about doing a choose your own adventure comedian video about this story, because and the idea would be it's a comedian, setting up the premise of a joke with this Paul Pelosi thing, but you could choose your own punchline, because it's such a wild story and everybody's trying to put different spin on it that if you were wanting to go left, then it would say the punchline would be something about how, well, the right is committed to political violence, aren't they? Well, then if you wanted to swipe right, then it would go, well, its crime is out of control. But if you just let the video play out and didn't choose left or right, you'd go, yeah, he was a crazy person. It looks like we had a crazy person break into somebody's house and try to kill him with a hammer, you know? Because this is such a wild story. Everybody's trying to spin it and put these different punchlines on things when ultimately it could be that we're talking about a person who's insane.
Well, and that's the other part of it too. It's like I know that everybody wants to be on the top of news and they want to break news, but you break the news, just tell the story. This is what we know so far. This is what happened. This is what we know. I would advise this to anybody listening, anybody in the chat or whatever. Don't jump to conclusions, whatever conclusions those may be. Don't jump to conclusions, because as these investigations happen, things come out. Next thing you know, what everybody thought happened is completely different. And then you don't know what, and then you've put all this stuff out there and you kind of look silly because you're like, I said this and now I was wrong about that. So go ahead.
It happens all the time. And I feel terrible now that we're learning more about this story, and you see the suspect in court talking about the ultimate goal was to just, what did he say? Something along the lines of, I just wanted to break her kneecap so she would have to wheel into the Capitol building and set a message, just really deranged, crazy things. And I'm like, I almost feel bad for Paul Pelosi and Nancy Pelosi because they were victimized in their own home, and the things that people were saying about them were pretty awful. And I feel bad for them because they had to live through that. Then I almost have to rewind and think about all the times Nancy Pelosi jumped on the national conclusion. We can talk about the Covington kids and just the terrible conclusions that were made against those people that were there for the pro-life rally, those high school students, and all the terrible things that were said about them by politicians. When all of that was completely fabricated and made up, I'm sure, have done the same thing to other people. Maybe not to the same extent, but we got to be so careful to jump into these conclusions, because when you get the story so wrong, you go back and look at it and say, oh, this is just terrible.
I mean, that's our responsibility, right? The internet's going to internet, but if we're going to broadcast, we have to stay in factual territory, right, even though we're talking about our own opinions most of the time.
You stay in factual territory, and sometimes you don't have many facts to report.
You got to go with what you
say
got.
What you know, and that's it.
Yeah, just a crazy world we live in anymore. Things just keep getting crazier. I really am starting to identify with the people living off the grid. I think the number I heard was that there's 200,000 people living off the grid in America today. I'm envious of them. Maybe I just need to unplug from everything and just stay away from it. And I'll make the wildlife in my lot, my friends. I'll just talk to them and we'll be good.
Mm-hmm. It'll be like that scene from Ace Ventura when he kneels down and sings and all the animals run to him. Right. You will be that.
I would say there's probably more than 200,000 people, because if they know that there's 200,000 people living off the grid, they're not really off the grid.
Yeah, true. That's right.
All right, so I am in the doghouse. I watched a movie without my wife, and she's very upset. I want to talk about that after the break with you guys. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Hey guys, Lover here with my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are, because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
At Shane Company, we know that love and meaning can be captured in a beautiful piece of fine jewelry. That's why we offer so many options to make your holiday gift even more personal. Jewelry with a birthstone makes a wonderful gift because it holds so much significance. Shane Company has unique styles with birthstones for every month of the year. Diamonds, cultured pearls, rubies, opals, and more. Why not create a necklace with her birthstone and then add a charm for good luck? A necklace with the first letter of her name lets her know how important she is to you. And our gold letter charms sparkle with diamond accents. Or select an engravable style. Give your loved one a bracelet inscribed with the place you met so they'll never forget that moment. Or capture your strong connection with a promise ring inscribed with both of your initials. Our jewelry consultants will make it easy. At Shane Company, we give you so many ways to create gifts infused with meaning. Treasures they'll have forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Wonder Lights Christmas in St. Louis is brighter than ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The holliest, jolliest Christmas light show in the area is celebrating the season from November 11th until January 1st. Tickets now available at WonderlightsChristmas.com. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
Are you or someone you know seeking help for a substance use disorder in Franklin County? Prevent Ed's free peer support service can connect clients with the medication-assisted treatment provider. Our certified peer specialists guide you through the process and ensure transportation to appointments and to pick up medication. Clients can generally be seen by a treatment provider in 24 to 36 hours. Access this free service at 314-246-9788 or at prevented.org/peers.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Today is November 4th, and the midterm elections are just 4 days away. Tune in for full coverage on your home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I'm Ryan Recker filling in. So, what's the poll question today?
The poll question today is, do you vote early? Never, sometimes, or always. So you can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote on that. And at 2:45, I will read your guys' comments and share the final results.
Yeah, there's a risk involved with voting early. Sometimes things change. It could change real quick leading up to the day you would go and vote. That's a risk, but it's also very convenient. Definitely during a presidential election cycle, that you don't have to wait 2 hours in line. That's kind of nice, you know. All right, go vote in that poll while we can. All right, guys, I'm in trouble. I watched a movie without my wife, and she got upset. I watched that Weird Al movie this morning. Well, almost all of it. I watched an hour of it because it was released today on the Roku channel, and it looked very funny. Harry Potter, the Radcliffe guy, plays Weird Al. It's satirical, so it's not as like an autobiographical take on Weird Al's life. It's kind of like a mockumentary, but not I guess not mockumentary is not the right word for it.
Is it like an Weird Al song about Weird Al?
That's very meta. No. I don't know.
I bet it is.
There's some twists and turns in it, and there's some really big-name comedians that I was surprised to see in cameos inside of it that were really fun. But it's almost like if you were to take a story and loosely base it on that story, and then at the end it resembles nothing of the original story, but still call it the original story, that's kind of the Weird Al take. I haven't made a final conclusion. I'm glad that I'm watching it, but I haven't laughed out loud much But, there's humorous things that happen. Is that just part of getting old where you watch a comedy and you don't laugh out loud anymore?
I just don't think there's a lot of great laugh out loud comedies anymore. There's comedy, but it's all this kind of stuff. It's not stuff that's hard hit you with a 2x4 jokes,
Right. So I think I'm going to have to rewatch the first hour because my wife is interested in doing that just to stay out of the doghouse. But was I wrong to watch a movie without running it by her first? I just assumed she wouldn't like it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
What do you think, Boop?
If Mr. Wonderful watched a movie without me that I wanted to see, I think I would have to voice it to him that I wanted to see it. If I didn't voice it, I can't be mad that he watched it.
That's an incredibly rational take, Hannah. And as a guy, I appreciate that take.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's a trap.
You have to read my mind.
Here's what happens once you're married for a considerable amount of time. I'm just going to tell you your future, Hannah, and this is what's going to happen.
Okay.
You're going to forget to tell him that you want to watch something, and then you're going to rely on him forgetting. So you're just going to say, no, I told you I wanted to watch that, even though you never told him that. And then he'll just conclude, oh, I guess I forgot. And then he'll be the bad guy there, and you'll always be the good girl.
Yep. That's probably right. I like that idea.
Let me explain how this is supposed to work. So it's supposed to be, and I reckon I'm going to bat for you here. There's a genre of movies that you watch that you like that your wife doesn't like. I don't know what that is, but that's very common.
Yeah, true.
And for me, it's usually sci-fi. My wife doesn't really care to watch sci-fi, but if it's a thriller, she's like, we got to watch that together. Maybe even action thriller. I got to run it by her.
So for me, it's exploding movies without Pierce Brosnan.
Exactly. But anything in that category, you feel like you've got the freedom to watch it without running it by her. I would think, Wrecker, that this movie maybe falls into that category where you go, this doesn't seem like one she'd be interested in, so I'm going to watch it, so it's not your fault.
You know what's important here is that you're going to rewatch it with her. That's the important thing here.
Yep. So I think that's what's going to end up happening because it's free and it's on the Roku channel and it just came out. There's so many different advertisements for it. So I think we're going to have to watch it together. You're right. The type of genre that I would watch is documentaries. She could care less about any documentary. So I can watch any of those without there being repercussions. For her, if it's on the Hallmark channel, like they're already running Christmas movies, she doesn't have to run any of that by me because, I have zero interest in those. So we know but then there's this middle ground, I guess. I never thought Weird Al mockumentary style would be something that she would want to see. But so far, so good. I'm looking for. And by the way, the twist and how they handle this like alternate storytelling is awesome. So I like how the certain mechanisms are in place in the way that they're handling it. I can't wait to watch the end of it. So I just have to wait for her. If she wants to punish me, then she'll make me wait to watch it, and then I'll never get to finish it. Do you guys ever start movies and not finish them, and then just totally forget about it, or do you guys watch movies all the way through every time?
It would have to be a really bad movie for me to like pause it and never come back.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I 99.9% of the time I just watch it all the way through, and then at the end I was like, man, that was great. Man, that was horrible. Never watching that one again.
Now I'm a never finisher. I used to be an always finisher. And now if I start, you're right. You're like, I can give you a movie maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. And if you haven't hooked me yet, I'm probably not going to watch past that.
Yeah, kids, man, that changes everything. Once you get the kids down at night, you only have a certain amount of time. And I'll tell you what, I don't remember the last time I've been up past 10 o'clock watching anything because you're just so tired and you're like, I just want to go to bed because I know they're going to wake up early in the morning. For me, I'm in bed and sleeping by 9:30. So if you get the kids down at 8, you can't finish anything in an hour and a half because, by the time you get everything set up. So I find myself, and we find ourselves, starting movies. We'll get an hour in. We'll look at the clock. It's 9:30. We'll say, we better go to bed. And then it's a question if we finish it the next day or not, the final part of it. And we've done that so many times.
I will have to say I was surprised that you said you were watching a movie in the morning.
Yeah, I wake up at like 5, so I wake up early.
And then you watch a movie?
Ew.
Well, you got to find something to do with that time.
Seems...
Most people who wake up at 5 go to the gym, and I don't understand those people either.
Yeah, no, not me. I'm not working out. No, I'm waking up and I'm enjoying alone time. That's the only time I really have to do something alone. But you got to do something quiet in the house. You don't want to wake anyone up.
Watch the
wake
news.
the kids up that early, then you're really in trouble.
Ooh, I got to ask you a question from our YouTube, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
This comes from Mike. So, Ryan, because you are talking about the Weird Al movie, are you promoting it? Does that mean you support everything in the Weird Al movie?
No, it doesn't mean I support everything in it. Is that the point of Kyrie Irving? That's interesting. I think that's very funny and smart to bring that up. One other quick thing before we go to break. Did you see the video that was circulating the internet about the Starbucks barista? I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah, apparently the worker was very upset with their work schedule.
Yeah,
so it's pretty grueling.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're slinging coffee cups all day, it could be pretty grueling because sometimes you're shorthanded. You have to work from open to close. What's a long shift for you guys? Have you guys worked 12-hour shifts before?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have. Yeah, it's just like common.
Yeah,
it's not fun, but people do 12-hour shifts all the time. You know, if you're a firefighter, how many was it? 24-hour shifts that you're doing?
48.
48-hour
or a nurse.
shifts.
Yeah.
If you're a nurse, you're working like crazy. So if you're in the business of creating coffee, what's a long shift for you guys? All right, here's the one barista that was complaining that they were being worked like dogs. Uh-oh.
Is it not playing?
No.
I'm being worked like a dog. I'm a barista. There's a clip.
Crazy, no,
It sounded just like me doing a voice, but that's what it was.
Hey, I don't know why it's playing. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Doesn't.
But basically, the person was complaining because they worked an 8-hour shift. Oh, I have to work for 8 straight hours.
It was
no.
yeah, but that was only on the weekends, and they worked 25 hours a week.
Oh, it was too demanding. 25-hour work weeks.
Yeah.
So the person was on camera, and they were recording themselves behind the scenes, and they were only a couple of hours into their shift. It wasn't even like at the end of it. They're like, I've already been working 2 hours, and I'm already wanting to go home, and they expect me to work 8 hours. And these 25, 30-hour work weeks are too demanding for them. And people are laughing at this person online, and rightfully so.
Many pumpkin spice lattes. It's
I
awful.
know. Workplace. I mean, it's just
If you're having a
basically-
breakdown,
Don't film it.
Why are you
People
filming this?
do that now.
Yes.
People love to record themselves crying. I think that's sick.
Really?
I don't understand it either. It's like I'm having a breakdown, so what I need to do is jump on the internet and tell everybody.
Because they want.
Why would anyone
people
think
feel
that
bad
we
for
would
them.
be sympathetic to an 8-hour workday? Like,
That's the question, isn't it? He thinks he's garnering support for his cause, and he might be doing the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. So I think even Fox, Tucker Carlson brought this up, which really informed a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't be on social media of what kind of crazy things you can find on there. And some people are sympathetic. They say, oh yeah, this is why Starbucks needs to unionize because 8-hour workdays are too much for someone making coffee. I know it's demanding working with the public and showing a frontward face to the public because, not everyone's polite. Some people are rude. But still, this is like a lot easier than digging ditches. And I can think of a lot of other industries that would have the right to complain. Working for Starbucks, not one of them.
Yeah, also, it's okay to have a breakdown. It's just that if you're doing it on tape,
Don't
to
record
try
it.
Cut it out.
it's like you're maximizing the moment for the emotion. I can get a lot of views out of this.
X's and O's coming up after the break. 97.1 FM Talk.
Paid for by Blaine for Congress.
I'm Blaine Lutkemeyer, and I approve this message.
We've seen some price increases. Some folks have raised worries that this could be a sign of persistent inflation. But that's not our view.
Reality is, inflation is now at a 40-year high, costing the typical family over $700 more every month just to stay even. That's the Biden extremist tax you pay every day. You pay it at the gas pump because of the extremist war against American energy, shutting down pipelines and using red tape to stop new development. You pay it in the devastation in your retirement account. You pay it in the border crisis and out-of-control crime wave. And now, they've driven America into a recession. Our most powerful weapon to stop them is our vote. It's in our hands to stop the damage they're doing to our families and America. November 8th, vote.
I'm Howard Mackler of GetRefunds.com. You may have heard me talk about the payroll tax refund program that gives businesses up to $26,000 for every employee they kept on payroll during COVID. But today, I'm not going to do the talking. I'm letting a real Get Refunds client tell you everything.
I'm Ray, owner of Manzi Insurance and Real Estate. I heard about the payroll tax refund and GetRefunds.com on the radio. When COVID hit my business, I scrambled to figure out how to protect our employees and customers while still being able to service our clients' needs. They got me approved for a payroll tax refund, and with that money, it allowed me to upgrade our technology to provide the means for some employees to work remote while also protecting those that return to the office. If you have a business, you should go to GetRefunds.com and start your claim today.
GetRefunds.com helped their business, and we can help yours too. Go to GetRefunds.com and see if you qualify in just 8 minutes. GetRefunds.com, powered by Innovation Refunds.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's the final weekend of campaigning. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. And with time running out, President Biden adds another event to his schedule planned for Sunday in New York, where some Democrats are in tighter races than expected. Right now, he's making a final California stop before heading to Illinois and telling voters he's got a plan to lower costs.
President Biden says it is clear the U.S. economy continues to grow and add jobs even as gas prices come down. Still, in a statement, the president says inflation is the top economic challenge, and he has a plan to bring down costs on everyday expenses, energy, and health care.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. The final jobs report before the midterms stronger than expected. 261,000 jobs added in October. Fox's Aisha Hasni is covering the tight race in Georgia between Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker.
Small business owners telling me inflation is real and it is hurting them and their customers. Daryl Perry, he runs the Bardo Pest Control Company in Cartersville. He blames Democrats and their spending for causing inflation.
But another small business owner supporting Warnock says the money spent on COVID relief was necessary. A rape suspect just being arraigned in New York City after an early morning attack yesterday on a woman who was out running in Manhattan. The suspect has 25 prior arrests.
He was already known to police, suspected in 2 assaults, including one just last month. And now the homeless man with a long rap sheet is in custody.
Fox's Lauren Green, the arrest reportedly coming as he tried to board a bus out of town. Republican gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin holding a briefing near that crime scene earlier today, accusing Governor Kathy Hochul of trying to evade responsibility for high crime. Hochul says she is open to revisiting the state's bail law. The judge in this rape case just saying a mental health evaluation will be ordered. America is listening to Fox News.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall? Well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th. Find a plan that's right for you at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast for this afternoon. It'll be partly sunny, breezy, and warm. Our high today, 81. Cloudy, windy, and warm. Rain tonight, some of that could be heavy, along with a thunderstorm late tonight, low down to 56. For tomorrow, a bit of morning rain. Otherwise, clouds and sun, windy day, high 63. Sunny Sunday, the high 70. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
Plain talk from our true constitutional conservative voice, Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
We have to stop the crazy liberal agenda of defunding the police. We need more support for law enforcement.
Give them the tools to stop violent crime, illegal immigration, and the cartels from flooding our state with their illegal drugs.
Mary Elizabeth Coleman opposes all taxpayer funding for illegal immigrants and will fight to cut state funding to cities that give sanctuary to illegal immigrants.
Biden's open border policy has brought fentanyl to our neighborhoods. Thousands of Missourians are dying as a result. Missouri should join the other states and send our National Guard troops to the border if that's what it takes to keep our families safe.
True constitutional conservative Mary Elizabeth Coleman supports a Parent's Bill of Rights, is pro-jobs, A-rated by the NRA, and the only one in this state Senate race endorsed by Missouri Right to Life. Paid for by friends of Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
Becco's new dishwashers use 1/3 the energy and half the water of U.S. standards for dishwashers. And from now until December 31st, you can save up to $200 in gift card rebates on eligible models. Visit Becco.com for more details. That's Becco.com.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
If the media ignores them, then we're talking to them. And we're posting it all as it happens. 97.1 on Twitter and Facebook.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
They got someone here knows what they're talking about.
Left up, left right, gotta love this American ride.
Like, you need to take some time to get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Man, that is the AliExpress version of the intro.
It always feels so dumb when we have real guests coming in and they hear that and they go, what? That sounds a little weird.
Recorded on your Fisher Price little radio recorder. I love it. In fact, I can see that. If you enjoy things like that, you'll love the Weird Al movie then. That's basically
Brian,
it.
I particularly love the mid-Atlantic accent done for the mom that's supposed to be a mom on an Oregon farm.
I'm just copying what I hear.
Was that one take for you? Did you do that instantly?
I don't even remember. My favorite part of the whole thing.
Several days.
Yeah. My favorite part of the whole thing is, come on, turn the radio on. Sounds like I don't know what I'm doing.
So this is the Annie Frey Show, and of course, Annie is out today, and none of this would be acceptable with Annie, but I'm Brian Recker.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay. We'll be doing X's and O's this hour. Looking forward to that, but I wanted to go over that poll real quick. Again, if you can go vote in the YouTube poll, that'd be great. What's the poll question again, Hannah?
The poll question is asking, do you vote early? And the options are never, sometimes, or always. Ryan Recker, do you want to answer the poll really quick? What do you think?
I've only done it a few times, but mostly I vote in person on the day that you get to vote in person. So that's normally how I would handle it.
Good for you, because I do the same. Although Annie called me out. She asked me this question. It wasn't the poll, but she asked me this question a few days ago and said, do you ever vote early? And I said, no, I'm always day of. And then she said, what about literally the last election in 2020? Because
no kidding.
She knew I was out of town for that one, and I had to come in. I had to go in early, so I broke my own word. But I still voted. That to me is the reason to have maybe a week, maybe a little bit more of early voting. But to me, day of, that's voting. And I don't know why we don't do that. I love that New Hampshire is one of the states that only does day of voting, at least in most circumstances. So I'm a day of voting guy. Wrecker, you and I are on the same page.
I also vote day of. I don't know why, but it feels more impactful.
Exciting.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's exciting. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's the
Don't
day
you feel
finally
robbed?
here.
Like, if you vote in person and they don't give you a sticker, I feel robbed.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever...
You're part of something.
During the
day
primary,
of.
when I voted, they had stickers just laying out that you could pick up yourself. And I'm like, okay.
Didn't
Yeah,
feel
thanks
right.
for the help.
Like, you know how much money they spend on stickers nationwide, I'm sure, just this time. Like,
They are
the sticker
important.
companies are like raking it in.
Oh my
right
gosh,
about
the
now.
sticker lobby is huge with
I know.
elections.
Gotta watch out for
They
big
would have
sticker.
to.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Watch out for big sticker.
And big glue.
Actually, yesterday I got a memory on Facebook that 2 years ago I voted in the presidential election. I took a little selfie and everything and was like, hey, first time voting. So that was 2 years ago today.
You didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
I did not answer the question. I vote early, but not like super early. So day or two before, unless I know I'm going to be out of town or something like that. My thoughts behind that is what I want to do. I like the whole pomp and circumstance of Election Day and all that other stuff. And I like it so much that I wish that it were a holiday. That we could do that. But
we should debate that too then.
Because the other part of that is like I don't want it to turn into like let's just grill some hot dogs and hamburgers and then nobody actually goes and votes. I think that it would be nice for people to have the day off, but I know that there are already laws in place that say that if you need to go vote, your employer has to let you go vote. They can't, by law, cannot keep you from voting.
Yeah, but the polling places open so early and they stay open late. I don't know. Unless you're working at Starbucks and they're grueling 8-hour shifts, then can you really be expected to go vote? But I think there's a lot of accommodations that are made. But you should be excited and actually want to vote enough where you'll take your own time to do so, either before or after a shift. And if you really want to make it a full day, then take a vacation day. Nothing's stopping you from doing that if you can. And sick days or whatever, I guess, if you're not feeling good.
And you know, the argument is, and I'm just going to blow Brad's mind here. The argument is that if you made it a holiday, that turnout would actually go down because so many people would make it a 4-day weekend and they'd travel over because it's always on a Tuesday, right? So I think there's a lot to be said for that, that if you want turnout to be higher, you don't make it a holiday.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah. I know. I didn't expect a huge response because I knew I was blowing your mind. But there you go.
Vote in that YouTube poll as we speak. Are we about ready to get
I think we're ready here.
Going? I think so, too. I'm so excited to hear the X's and O's, Ryan Wiggins.
All right. So our candidates have entered the room now. They've been in the isolation chamber, so they've not heard anything.
Love that.
So, introducing you to Kat Cammack, who is from Florida.
Yes.
And representative of Florida's 3rd District is up here.
The fighting third.
Thank you. And then Regan Deering, seen your face on many ads.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's good to see you in person. Here you are, congressional candidate for Illinois' 13th District. Campaign season, crazy. I mean...
4 days.
Right?
4 days to
crazy.
go. Ooh.
4 days.
Running hard for the
4
win.
full days. Yeah, right. I got a whole bunch of questions for you, but I'm going to introduce you to this game. We're going to jump right in.
Love
and
it.
on the back end, I do want to ask you guys a couple questions about this whole thing. But let's jump in to X's and O's. We're going to bring up our dramatic music here because we want you to feel pressure. Yeah.
This is very serious.
Compared to,
I'm sweating already.
Right. Compared to the campaign season, this is going to be like, what? This is nothing. But we try to at least make it dramatic for the audience to feel like this is a real game, which it is. We have a tic-tac-toe game behind you right now. It is a completely
we're
open
against
board.
each other.
You are against each other.
Oh, I thought we were going a team. down.
Oh, no. You're against each
the
other.
claws are out now.
That's right. And we love trash talk, but that is entirely up to you. Kat, we're going to make you X's. And Regan, we're going to make you O's.
All right.
And so you will pick 1 through 9 there, the tic-tac-toe board, any square you want. I've got corresponding questions here. And similar to Hollywood Squares, you have experts. Brad is one of your experts, or celebrities, as I like to call them. Brad on your left, Hannah right in front of you, and then Ryan Wrecker. You can call on him at any time, too.
Phone a friend.
That's
yes,
right.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
That's right.
There
So
he
they
is.
will each be able to answer 3 questions for you, and they will let you know if they're out. because there's a total of 9 squares. So other than that, we just play it like tic-tac-toe, and you try to get the most squares or you try to get tic-tac-toes. We count both of them. So we'll get going here, and I'm going to flip a coin. Oh, look, I just flipped it. And X's are going to go first. For Kat. All right, Kat.
Amazing.
The
Guess
board.
first. That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me to actually put where I'm going, right?
You just have to tell us.
What number? Oh,
And then
5.
Okay.
Center square. She's
okay,
picking.
she's going 5. And so who would you like to answer that question for you, Brad, Hannah, or Ryan?
And we don't know what the question is.
You don't know yet.
All right.
Brad it is.
Brad.
Okay.
I got good tiger blood energy vibe from him today.
I like that.
I'm going to save that. I'm clipping that audio.
All right. Brad and Kat, you have, right off the bat, stumbled into sound. So what goes on here is this is an actual clip from an actual person this week. I have run it through artificial intelligence software so that it sounds a little funny, but it's a real clip. I'm going to play that for you. Brad, you're going to have to tell me who said this.
I will very, very, very probably do it again. Okay.
All right. I will very, very probably do it again. Okay. Kat acts like she knows the answer to this, maybe. But does Brad?
She even has the hand movements to go
She's doing
with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful.
That absolutely sounds like something Donald Trump would say, or the way Donald Trump would say something.
Well, Kat, is Brad right?
He's correct.
And here is the real audio.
I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay?
Nice
job.
That was great.
To start the game, so X is...
Yes.
Air
there
high
you
five.
go.
Air
X
high
gets
five.
the square. You can go ahead and just put it in there and take control of the board. All right, right in the middle
Nice choice. Nice choice.
is the
Darn it.
strategy. Regan,
All right, I'm going lucky number 7.
number 7 for Regan
And
Deering.
I'm going to go with Hannah as my
Alrighty.
expert.
All right, Hannah, here
Girl
you
power.
go. Because of his constant barrage of Trump jokes, this late-night host said this week, quote, I have lost half of my fans, maybe more than that, unquote. He went on to say that his network, ABC, has not been happy about it, and that he offered to quit unless he could keep telling nonstop Trump jokes. Which late-night host is it?
Ooh. Late night host.
His network, ABC, has not been happy about
There's
it.
a late night host, hates Donald Trump. That could be anybody.
I was just going to say, I'm always asleep
Let
at
me
this time.
think.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Do you agree with that?
I wish I knew my networks better.
You're not watching it. Who's watching any of this stuff anyway, right?
I'm going to disagree.
Disagree. Regan Deering, you have given the square to Kat. Because
Dang!
it was Jimmy Kimmel.
Hannah, I should have trusted you.
All right. Wow.
That's what I get for not watching Jimmy Kimmel.
Hey, nobody watches
You'd be worse off if you
Nobody
did.
watches Jimmy Kimmel.
You're a better person for not having
Yes.
watched. That was a well-earned X.
Yeah, that
Oh, no,
nobody
you
did.
can't go for the win already. All right,
Well,
here we are.
remember now, even if we get a tic-tac-toe, we can go for total number of squares
All
as
right.
well. So we got a
Is
lot
that
of game
like
in
everyone
front of us.
gets a trophy?
It is a little bit like that, yeah.
This is why we're in
never
this
thought of
mess,
it
though.
like that.
Because we have the
Exactly.
Participation Award Society. This is why we're in this mess.
Yeah, but man, the person that gets the tic-tac-toe first has such a head start for the coverall, the most squares.
I
That,
know, 3-0.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Yeah, it is tough. But if she
not
does
giving
get a
up.
tic-tac-toe,
I'm going to be a come-from-behind winner.
we will just say, okay, game over, and you leave.
Get out. Just get out.
Yeah, no, we're going to play this whole game because that's the way we usually do it. All right, so that means it is Kat's turn. I think I know where you're going to go on the board.
I think we're going to go for 3.
You got to go for the kill here.
Yes.
Number 3, who are you going to choose to answer this question for you?
All right, Hannah.
Me again?
Hannah again.
You're gonna redeem yourself.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
Oh, she was right. I was wrong. Oh,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
She is your friend. She's gonna help you with the win here.
You never know.
All right. No, hey, once again, I don't know how you're doing this, but you have
More sound?
stumbled into sound. We only have a couple of those, so there you go. Number 3, Hannah, I'm going to play again a real clip from this week that has been run through artificial intelligence software. You're going to have to tell me who said this.
I
I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles and the analysis about where there is the intersection, right? Yeah, I see people. You agree with me, right?
Can we read that back to you? It says, I really do love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles and the analysis about where there's the intersection, right?
Kamala Harris?
Yeah, I see people. You agree with me, right?
Kamala Harris? Did she say that?
It's really up to Kat at this point.
She said it.
You're agreeing?
The word salad queen said it.
Yeah.
Well, here's who actually said it.
I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about the analysis about where there is the intersection, right? Yeah, I see people. You agree with me, right?
It's just something about a big yellow school bus.
That was last week's. Yeah, it's amazing. Every week we got one.
Hey, I know we're down here in St. Louis, but she's coming to Illinois this weekend.
Is she really?
People in Illinois can go hear her for themselves somewhere if they reveal her location.
Well, I'm
not sure she's going to be real popular.
Someone needs to do a Venn diagram poster for the event.
Here are the three areas she could be in.
She could be.
Things that fix the economy.
And get together.
Things the Biden administration are doing, and they don't have to touch.
Yes.
So, all right, we're going to break right there after a tic-tac-toe, but that doesn't mean that Regan can't come back.
Oh,
Ryan Recker, you haven't been picked yet, but you can take us out here.
All right.
Better mark your
It's
square.
the X's and O's. Wow, a lot of X's on that board. We'll see if the O's can come back next on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. 97.1 FM Talk is excited to once again participate in the Florissant Veterans Day Parade this Sunday, hosted by the City of Florissant and the Veterans Coalition. Join us for the Veterans Day Parade. It's this Sunday in Florissant.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel, but inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
From abortion to inflation, the issues in our local elections have far-reaching implications. We're breaking these issues down on The Home Stretch, Odyssey's new original podcast. I'm Doug Sovereign. Each week I'll talk to a range of experts to give you a no-fuss 15-minute download of the most pressing issues on this year's ballots. Listen to The Home Stretch on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Alexei Janulius' past is littered with scandals, fiscal mismanagement, and shady behavior. As state treasurer, he lost over $150 million of college savings funds with risky investments. And his family bank was seized after loans were made to Russian mafia members.
I'm Dan Brady, and I have a plan to improve the Secretary of State's office by cutting wait lines, increasing senior services, and reducing license plate renewal fees. We need someone we can trust as our next Secretary of State, and that's me, Dan Brady.
Paid for by friends of Dan Brady.
If you need to freshen up the inside of your home with a new coat of paint, CertaPro painters can not only help, but they'll knock it out of the park. CertaPro painters have powers well beyond those of ordinary painters, like the power of a cut above, the power of reliability, and the power of neighborhood painters where you live. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, and it's super easy to set up a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro painters, proven and trusted experts in painting. Head to CertaPro.com today.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Single-family houses and apartments are the key to passive income, a.k.a. retirement. No one knows this better than America's most successful investor, educator, self-made multimillionaire, and CEO of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only, Saturday and Sunday, November 5th and 6th. To attend, register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register today at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
And I'm Ryan Recker filling in. Looking at this X's and O's board, oh boy, it is a big challenge for Regan Deering, congressional candidate in Illinois for the 13th district. You can find her online. And Kat Cammack, she's a representative for Florida's 3rd district, joins us in studio here. Very exciting X's and O's edition. Ryan Wiggins, you put a good one together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
Ryan
yeah, I
together.
did that.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with the producers of the show who were also in the studio.
Or our poor drummer.
or drummer, yeah, who's playing our intense drums here for X's and O's. So we were just talking off air a little bit about a number of things. I said, Regan, are you going to win? And I don't know whether I was referring to this game or to your race, but I think your answer was yes either way.
Hell yeah. That was my answer. Yeah. We're going to be the underdog. We're going to shock them. I don't know,
it.
Kat.
Yeah, I love it.
I wouldn't want to lose to anyone else.
Good spirit. Good spirit.
So we were also talking about the congressional baseball game.
Oh, my gosh.
You have to tell that story simply because it's almost a story of legends at this point, and you're here to talk about it.
I'll start off.
So please,
because I got
want to
home.
hear this narrated.
Yeah.
So, like, the previous year, was it Stubbe hit the home run?
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, a congressman hitting a home run out of Major League Park. Aluminum bat, doesn't matter. That's still a feat. And that was pretty awesome to watch, and we talked about it on the show. So I get home, and I'm like, I bet that congressional baseball game's on. I flip it on. The first thing I see is we've got a pinch runner, and there's a base hit or something into the outfield, and it's Kat, and she's running, and I'm like, okay, she's gonna stop at third. Nope, she's going. And I was like, oh no, they're gonna get her. They got her. She's gonna be out. And she plowed the catcher over. And I was like, no way! This is awesome. Who does she represent? And I had to start Googling.
Of course, Florida.
Of course. Yeah.
How does it
That's
feel?
great.
How does it feel to be the subject of a viral internet clip?
So, okay, in all fairness, yes, I was a pinch runner, and our third base coach was Jack Bergman, who is a general from Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's signaling me to go home, and I'm like, yes, sir. You know,
Salute.
what you got? I think I actually did salute him. Now, keep in mind, I'm 5'3" with T-Rex arms, right? So, like, my legs are going as fast as they possibly can. So, in my mind, I'm flying. When you watch the tape, I am slow as molasses. But they had this great relay, the Dems did, and getting the ball back from outfield, and it comes in, and I see the ball come out of the corner of my eye, and the senator from Connecticut, he was the catcher, and he grabs it, drops down right in the middle of the baseline in front of the base, and I was like, okay, I'm going to strip this dang ball. And so I lowered my shoulder, and I plowed into him, and I hear everyone like, oh! And I think it's fun, like we all collapse, and, I basically tackle the poor guy, and I get up and I give him a pat on the back. Hey, man, that was so much fun. And he looks down at me and he's like, you should have slid. You could have really hurt me. And I was like, you big sissy. But they did. They had to stop the game, and they had to send the ump over to talk about how we're not going to have this physical game and everything. It was a whole thing.
Oh, my gosh.
My husband told me the next morning that he's never been more proud because we made ESPN top 5.
That's awesome. So before we get back into the game here, Regan, I was talking to you a little bit off air too about your district, Illinois 13. This is one going into the year that's been heavily gerrymandered. I mean, it looks like a snake.
F minus. I officially got an F minus in gerrymandering.
Yeah, exactly. And so you stepped into this because, and it was supposed to lean Dem.
Yeah.
They said, well, if Republicans get the right candidate in there, this could actually have a chance. And all I've seen, I'm a person who watches polls like crazy. All I've seen is this thing drift further and further to toss up.
Yeah.
And so you got a really good chance coming up here and control of the House. It's a pretty big deal. So
huge deal.
A lot of people counting on you.
Yeah. It was definitely mapped for Democrat, and quite frankly, probably our state legislature mapped it for my opponent. She got moved back here from the Biden administration last summer to run for this seat. She made an article about it before the ink was even dry on that map. So we knew who the opponent was going to be very early on. And you're right. We've gone from likely Dem to lean Dem to tilt. Some outlets are calling us a toss-up. And so that national momentum, this red wave everyone's talking about, we're going to ride on in and make sure that our good values here in the Midwest are represented by somebody that's a hometown girl and has been kind of living and working here in Illinois and wants to make sure that it continues to be in a great place.
Regan, as you're driving the snake, the district that you're trying to meet the constituents and voters, what do people bring up first when they meet you? This is the issue that I'm voting on.
Cost of living.
Yeah.
Hands down. The cost of everything is up. I mean, all you hear on the radio is gas and groceries, but guess what? It's insurance, it's rent, it's prescriptions, it's just about everything. And people are really hurting. And regardless of party this year, they have felt, the loss of the American way of life over the last 2 years pretty steadily.
Yeah.
And, Biden's approval rating is in the basement. Which is where I wish he would have stayed during the last campaign. I could have kept him there. But, people are just ready for a change. And knowing that I myself has come and tried to run for this seat, just knowing I've got the right reasons I'm running. We've got an incredible country we got to save. And in just 4 days, we all have a great shot. But we cannot stay home. We cannot take anything for granted. Everybody needs to get out and vote and make your voice heard. And I think we're going to walk away with a win.
Well, I appreciate you and Kat being here today to play X's and O's with us on a Friday. It's a Friday tradition here on the Andy Frey Show, even though Andy's not here today. So as I look at the board behind you, I'm looking and saying, you know what? We got a little bit of an uphill climb here for Regan. Kat has got to like her position right now.
Having a
tic-tac-toe right across
Gold
the...
star. Yes, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So
3, 5, and 7.
I think, though, that means that it is Regan's turn.
All right.
And so you can see the board there. You can see what's open. You kind of can go wherever you want.
Number 6?
Number 6. And who would you... So we have Brad can answer questions for you. Hannah's got 2 of her 3 already gone. And Ryan is still wide open. Record.
I'm going to go with Ryan.
All right.
Okay.
Ryan Recker.
Ryan Recker.
Oh, wow.
This question is for you. Reports are circulating that Ryan Reynolds... We had
so
too many
Ryans.
Ryan Reynolds is interested in buying an unlikely group. Senators, this rowdy NHL hockey team, the Senators, calls which Canadian city its home?
Oh, yeah.
I know this.
I do know this. Senators are very popular. It's the capital in Canada. It is Ottawa.
All right. You
Gave you a
feel
lot of-
confident. I'm gonna go with you, Ryan.
Okay.
She's agreeing.
And you both are correct.
Hey!
So, Regan Deering is now on the board for X's and O's.
There's no red
All right.
marker, by the way.
This is, no, because this is Gator colors, right?
Oh,
so
this
you're
is
repping,
Gator.
you're repping
That's
Florida
Gator.
Gators today.
All right.
Oh, your
Nope,
O's.
circle.
Your O's. Oh, that's a nice looking O. It's a half moon. All right.
Beautiful.
All right, there we go. And Kat, it is now
It's an
your
eclipse.
turn. Yeah. Kat, your turn. Which square would you like to pick here behind you?
I'm going to go with number 1.
Number
Oh, you're gonna
one.
try and get the
Top
double
What?
tic-tac-toe on me,
Listen.
aren't you?
She's strategic. She knows what she's doing here. All right, number 1. Who would you like to answer the question? Brad, Ryan, or Hannah?
Let's go back to Brad.
All right.
Back to Brad. Okay, we have a special category, Brad. These are always fun. Russia
Stumper.
has lightened sanctions against a number of foreign companies attempting to keep popular brands and cartoon characters available to Russian citizens. This means that Disney, Lego, and this company / franchise that is playing now can stay in Russia. What character or company or title is this song associated with?
I'm so glad I'm not answering
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I'm a little jealous you're not answering.
You can let it play.
Okay, I know this one now.
Okay.
This is
there it goes.
Super Mario. So the Mario Brothers. So it'd be Nintendo.
Okay, any of those answers?
Ryan Recker's like bouncing up and down right now as he's wearing a Mario shirt.
What? That's cheating.
I'm going to have to agree with Regan a little bit. That is cheating. What's
If you're
the
not
answer?
cheating,
Only
you're not
you
trying.
two can see him, and then you just let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
I wasn't going to say it, but I guess the experts have weighed in. What do you think, Kat?
Well, listen, as the token millennial in Congress, I did grow up playing Nintendo, so yes,
There
that
you
is
go.
correct.
Yeah, you got it. It
Nice.
is. It is Mario and it is Nintendo, so I chose the orchestral version of that song on purpose.
That was unique.
You really did.
All right, you got X in number 1. Regan, the board's still wide open here. Where
All
would
right,
you like
I guess
to go?
I'll go 2 for the block.
Okay.
For
2
the
for the block.
block.
Or 4 for the block. Or 9 for the block.
Stop it.
All right, 2 for the block. Who would you like to answer this question for you? Brad, Ryan, or Hannah?
I'm going to go with Ryan again.
All right.
And I'm going to watch him.
Yes, that's a
There
good
you go.
idea.
There you
So
go.
if he's giving me any subliminal messages, I can see.
Yeah, we do that with our eyes a lot. Doesn't come across the radio.
This is
It
great
might
radio.
be like, Wiggins. And she's like, hey, Wiggins. Annie does that quite frequently. All right, here we go. A Republican, at least in name, I call them Rins, praised Nancy Pelosi this week, calling the speaker a, quote, tremendous leader. This Republican got to know Nancy better by being appointed to the January 6th committee. Which Republican referred to Nancy Pelosi as a tremendous leader this week?
Well, there's only a few to choose from here. So I am going to guess it was Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney's a good guess.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. You didn't give any indication if it was a guy or gal.
I didn't.
Okay.
It's pretty much a 50-50 pick, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm going to go with Liz Cheney. I feel like she's been trying to boost her, popularity. So
Yeah.
cozying up to Nancy's probably about right.
She's been in the news a lot, too. She's been speaking quite a bit, and both of you are correct.
Hey.
Nice.
I'll get a good 0.
Right.
There you go.
Take it.
All right. Now
One
that
block down.
that is a nice looking O. Compared to the last one especially.
I'm a quick learner.
All right, Kat, let's see. We got 3 squares left. What do you want to do here?
Ooh, I've been doing really well with the odd numbers, so let's go with 9.
9. All right, 9, and I think everybody's
Bottom
still
right.
available. So
Yep.
Brad, Ryan, and Hannah. Who would you like to choose?
I haven't tapped in with Wrecker yet, so let's do Ryan.
Okay. Okay, good choice. Here we go. Ryan Recker, President Biden said this week that he spoke to the man who invented insulin, which would have been very difficult since Frederick Banting, who invented insulin, died in 1941. Was Biden born before or after Frederick Banting died on February 21, 1941?
Oh, boy. Hold on. I got to do a little math here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is going to take a little math, isn't it?
Well, that means he would be...
It's safe to say that
over
he did not
80,
speak
which
with him.
He is not. Right. So, no, he was not alive because that means he would be over 80, which he is not yet. So, we're going to say, no, he was not alive.
Okay. Kat, was he alive or not?
Joe Biden was born 1 year after insulin was invented, so that would make Ryan correct.
You are both right.
Nice.
Man, you guys really worked that out well. All right.
I often speak to the dead, so I mean, I kind of get where he's going.
That's news. Have never heard you say that before. Okay. All right, Regan. Let's try to just run up the total here because I think that's what you can do.
We'll go with 8.
8. And
I'll pick Hannah.
Hannah,
All right,
okay.
Hannah.
I think
My
that's
last turn.
This is Hannah's last turn. Hannah, this is a special category.
Oh boy. Okay.
3 weeks in a row.
This category is called Ryan is reusing music beds because it is easier on him in the production lab. So yes, we're out of November, but most of these questions have been about daylight savings. So I'm kind
We
of
just got
No,
into November.
We're out of October.
sorry, out of October into November. Thank you. Here's the question. A spooky question. While there are U.S. territories and territories within the U.S. who do not observe daylight saving time, There are just 2 U.S. states that officially do not observe daylight saving time. Name one of the 2 U.S. states that do not observe it.
Florida.
Florida. Is she correct or incorrect?
So I think Florida just did this year. So I'm going to agree with Hannah.
Kat?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Nope, not yet.
What are they talking about?
They're talking.
Arizona
And
does
Indiana is the other
There,
one.
now there are parts of Indiana.
Arizona does
but
not.
Arizona is one of them, and the other one is, anybody know? Hawaii.
Oh.
Those are the only 2 full
Okay,
states.
now, did Florida talk about it? Because we traveled to Florida, and I thought, okay, this is really going to be messed up.
Okay,
because
no
they're
more
gonna
Michael Myers.
Okay, you can pull that down.
They're going to be 2 hours behind us.
So there was a
Or
lot
ahead
of
of
talk
us
about
here in Illinois.
There's a lot of talk about it, and the state legislature has actually got a bill forward to get rid of it.
Oh.
So it's in the
I was jumping the gun a
process.
little.
You were.
All right.
I was
Hannah?
Kat had this look on her face, like it was like Florida.
She's playing the game.
Yes, she is.
She was good. Good.
Yeah.
All right, you get the X.
All right, X gets the square.
Oh man, what was that? 8?
Cat, yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yikes! Look at all those X's.
All right, we got 1 square left. I
I
think.
bring in smart friends.
Yeah, good job. It really is the luck of the draw with this game because you just don't know. Number 4 is your only square, so who are we
who's
picking?
left?
Brad?
I'm the only one that's left.
All right,
Okay,
left.
Brad, here we go.
Spoil it for her, Brad.
U2's Bono can basically do anything he wants. He revealed this week that he passed out in the Lincoln bedroom once and was found by which U.S. president?
This is not the question that I know about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't, man. Passed out in the Lincoln bedroom.
Yep.
Was found by a U.S. president.
Yes, and he was bragging about it this
And
week.
it was a president, right? Not a president's
You don't
ghost.
get to ask bonus questions.
Yeah.
I can't
All right.
confirm whether it was a ghost. That would be Ryan Recker, who talks to the dead, who'd be able to let you know.
I'm going to say that Bono passed out and was discovered by U.S. President William Jefferson Clinton.
Okay? That's not what I thought you were going to say. William Jefferson Clinton, as in Bill Clinton. Regan? Oh, I'm
it's
sorry,
not
Kat.
me. It's Kat.
Kat, is that correct or incorrect?
I feel like this would have been a more Obama type era thing.
You locking in?
I'm locking in.
What, so you're disagreeing with Brad?
I'm disagreeing with
Okay.
Brad's answer.
And doggone it if Kat isn't right again.
Was it Obama?
It was Obama.
I was going to say
yeah.
they're cozy. I'm sure he would have
Oh,
put it in there.
I literally have no idea why I thought that, but I just had a feeling.
well, it's Bono.
Yeah.
Who's he going to be hanging out with?
Yeah,
Joe
that's
Biden?
exactly right.
You know? Or he's not hanging out with Trump.
That would have been
Well,
great
at
if
least
Bush
I
had
didn't
been
have
one.
a sweep.
No,
You know?
it's true.
But
You did get on the
But
board.
you are going to win on November 8th.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
right.
what's
Yes, she
important.
is.
Let's hope.
There we go.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Please do.
We're talking about come from behind. So in the primary, you have a day to turn in your petitions. You got to go down to the elections building at the Capitol in Springfield. I live in Decatur. It's about a 50-minute drive. You know, we're not morning people. We know we're going to have to stand out there for a long time. Super cold day. So we're hustling. We're winding our way through the one-ways and the road closures in Springfield. You know, you have to be in line by a certain time. And then if any of the candidates for the same office are in line by that certain time, then it becomes a lottery. So it doesn't matter if you're first or you're last. So we're hustling. We get there. We park. We run. We got all our papers. And there at the end of the line is someone from the Board of Elections and a sheriff. Because apparently there has been
some scuffles.
Some scuffles. You know, are you in line? Are you not in line? So right at, the hour, then they put the sheriff in line and he's the end. And I'll be darned if I wasn't the last person in line on that day.
Oh, boy.
But guess what? Guess who ended up first on the ballot after the lottery? None other than me.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, this is
Yeah.
the theme. We're going to be come from the end, go to the front. So I feel like it's the same
I gotta
momentum
ask
on
you.
November 8th.
I think I'm in your district. I'm getting your mailers,
Yeah.
and I'm getting your opponent's mailers, attacking you, and everybody's going back and forth. One of the things that I always think about, just personally, I'm putting politics aside. I look at these things I get in the mail, and I think I would want so badly to respond to what my opponent is saying about me. So I'm just going to give you the opportunity. What is driving you crazy that people are saying that you're like, no, I got to set the record straight?
Well, two things. Do I have to just pick one?
I don't know. It's
well,
up to you.
I'll tie
You
them
go ahead.
together. I'll tie them
Okay.
together. So pretty much every single ad from the very beginning is that I'm an out-of-touch wealthy heiress. Okay, so I will not shy away from being from a family that came to Decatur and created a wonderful international business, created a lot of jobs, has done a lot for our ag industry, et cetera. But because I'm so out of touch, it must be that I'm going to take everything away from every citizen, including your Social Security and your Medicare benefits. And I have never been on the record, never, ever, ever saying that I'm going to do nothing but support and protect the benefits of Social Security and Medicare. So if I could come through the mailbox or come through the TV, that would be my message to voters, is that I am like all of you. I'm here in Central Illinois. I'm fighting for the same things. We want a strong economy, and we want to, build up great families and live that American dream. So
that had to be a memo that went out nationally, because that is a talking point. Kat, you're in Florida.
Yeah.
You've probably seen it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They just decided that's going to be the thing we say regardless of facts.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. And I got to tell you, you're the only quote unquote heiress that has ever picked me up from the airport in a jean jacket and tennis shoes. And
Exactly.
I mean, we were out on a combine earlier today, in a field, and I think it's just, it is so disingenuous to put that kind of garbage out there. She's got $6 million that's being dumped on her head in lies. And I think if you are a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, you want common sense. You just want sanity. And if you don't vote for Regan, then you're basically casting your ballot for Nancy Pelosi, because on the left, all they're doing is pledging their loyalty to Nancy Pelosi. So if you want freedom, if you want to make decisions for your family, your kids, you need to vote for Regan, because she's going to go to bat for you, not because she wants a title or money or anything like that. She's just going because she wants to be a fighter. And that's what we need.
Did I just hear that correctly? Regan Deering just picked up Kat from the airport in a combine?
That would be a sight, right?
That would be pretty impressive, because I've been to the airport and I don't think you could get a combine.
I'm not sure we could fit.
Yeah. Well, you guys, you're running all over the place, so thank you so much for making some time for us just to play this crazy game.
Yeah, this was fun.
Hopefully had a little fun. Ryan, I'll toss it back to you. You're hosting, so take over.
This was an awful lot of fun, and best of luck next Tuesday, the 13th Congressional District. Boy, would that be great to turn that red with Regan Deering. Anyone listening here today, I would definitely encourage you to look up those issues, because I think you'll like her. Kat Cammack, I got a text message from our morning show host, Marc Cox, who said, "You are the best. He loves you."
Nice.
Loves you.
Love you too, baby.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on 97.1
We miss
FM
you,
Talk.
Annie.
This is the Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
Mark Montavani is with me.
The primary responsibility of the county executive is to operate the county government. I think that's where the county executive has been so pathetic.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Having somebody take care of your insurance needs, be it your personal insurance or your commercial insurance, you need to have somebody in your corner who knows what they're doing first and foremost. That's the basic level of it all. Laura Michael Insurance is the place to go for somebody who is an expert, 25 plus years in the business of caring for your insurance needs. That's a personal level situation. That's where she goes over the course of time. She's been working with commercial businesses. Maybe you lose an employee. Maybe you're looking to expand. How do you make sure that you have the coverage that you need to? How do you make sure you're not paying for coverage that you don't need to have? How do you adjust between the highs and the lows to make sure that you are covered? LauraMichaelInsurance.com. That's Laura, Michel, insurance.com. I can vouch for her as an individual. She is fantastic. She is whip smart. She is funny, and you are going to appreciate the way that she handles the important parts of your business when it comes to insurance. Or if you're looking for your own personal insurance, she will help you through the whole process there as well. Find her online right now by going to LauraMichaelInsurance.com. That's Laura, Michel, insurance.com.
A surprise proposal under the stars. A diamond ring symbolizing your love. A promise to inspire, respect, and love one another. Visit Chain Company to create a treasure that will hold meaning forever. We design our engagement rings in-house, so any style you choose will be a unique creation. We know a ring comes to life when it's set with a center stone that speaks to you. Chain Company offers the largest selection of center stones, natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, as well as natural gemstones including rubies, sapphires, peach morganite, aquamarine, and amethyst. We sell our center stones loose, so you can compare stones side by side and select the one that's right for you. Or select a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. A jewelry consultant will work with you to help you maximize your budget. Our free lifetime warranty even covers the center stone. Make this the holiday you'll both treasure forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-600-5536. That's 1-800-600-5536. 1-800-600-5536.
Hi, my name is Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. In honor of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
The holidays are fast approaching, and it's the best time to call Zero Res. Book now and save before the holiday rush. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at just $129, and a free room of fiber protectant for an $80 savings. Call 314-474-2020 or online, ZeroResSTL.com. Tell them that I sent you.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling and Insulation Studio. Save up to $900 in utility rebates and see if you qualify for 0% financing on a new high-efficiency HVAC system. For details and to get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Nice song to get you into the weekend. I'm Ryan Recker for one more segment here. Wow, that was a really great X's and O's with Regan Deering and Kat Cammack.
That was
They did
fun.
a fantastic job. Oh, it was so good. All right, as we wrap up this Friday show, we have also a fun way to wrap it up. I don't know if there's an intro for this one.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
All right, perfect. Do I pretend to be Annie, or how does this work today?
I don't know. That's really up to Trish.
Whatever feels
Yeah.
right, Ryan.
All right.
Do you want me to call you Ryan? I'm not really sure.
Well, I can be Annie, I guess, but...
But you'll have
So
to
do
answer
I-
whether Annie is okay with
Right.
this or not.
Do I answer on behalf of Annie, or do I answer for myself and call myself Annie? Either or.
How about this? Ryan, you answer on behalf of you. I'll answer on behalf of Annie.
Oh, she's going to love that.
Love
Fair?
that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. The National Park Service warns do not lick poisonous toads. The National Park Service is cautioning people to keep their tongues to themselves around the Sonora desert toad, also known as the Colorado River toad. At almost 7 inches long, it measures as one of the largest toads in North America. Not relevant, just a fact. The toad secretes what is considered a potent toxin, a substance that can make humans sick if ingested. Apparently, it can also make you high. The National Park Service is saying it's not worth it. Don't lick the toad. Ryan Recker first. Would Annie be okay with...
No, would he be okay?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Would you be okay... Are you okay with the no toad licking warning?
Perfectly fine with the no toad licking warning. Yeah, it's what a ridiculous thing that toad licking is even a thing. That's been around for a while, people licking toads. From what I know, at least in pop culture, there's been many of like 90s sitcoms that have followed that storyline. I think The Simpsons even did it once.
Wow.
So, yeah, go ahead, warn people. I don't know why it's in people's minds to begin with.
On behalf of Annie, how big was it again?
7 inches.
7 inches. Okay. I think that Annie would probably say that she would not really want she wouldn't want the government to intervene in these warnings.
All right. Touche.
So I don't know if that's a no or a yes. Yeah.
All right. This story comes from Brad Range.
Yeah.
Army bras
Oh.
are coming soon.
Army bras?
Army bras. Experts
Really?
have developed 4 prototypes in the Army Tactical Brassiere, the branch's first high-impact flame-resistant sports bra.
Oh,
Right.
Waiting for the connection here.
Currently, some flame-resistant models in limited sizes are issued to aviator and combat vehicle crew members, but they're not suitable for other jobs. Each of these prototypes includes a variety of features such as dog tag pocket, racer back styles, padding, mesh venting, or a front zip option. Ryan Recker first, are you okay with Army bras?
First, when you said that, I thought it was a new way to pronounce bros. Like, how you doing, bros? But it's not. I think
Straight
you
up
have
bras.
to be okay with it because in today's superhero world, all the female superheroes are like scantily clad dressed, and they only basically wear that protection to begin with. So you have to have the fire protection, right?
Yeah, and you know what, Brad? Since you were mentioned in this, I'll let you answer on behalf of Annie.
Yeah, you're just taking this pitch, you sissy.
Go ahead.
I think Annie would definitely be okay with it because anything to protect our men and women in service is a good thing.
Oh.
Wow.
Very
Great.
diplomatic.
Yeah.
Very.
All right.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, brah.
Thanks, Brad. Why did you bring up Brad in that? Why did you think?
Because I sent that story.
Oh, he
It's
sent the
Brad's
story. Oh, I was like, did he start a
It's an
bra
ABC
company?
News article, so it's not like I'm digging on the deep corners of the web.
It's near and dear to Brad's heart.
Because that's where they go.
First thing every morning, bra news. Typing it in. Any bra news today?
What's new?
Not much.
What's new on the bra front?
Usually the
boy.
answer is no.
Do you
much going
guys want one more or you want to switch to the poll?
Let's do the poll. Trisha, thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Trisha, get out of here.
All right, the YouTube poll today is asking, do you vote early? Never, sometimes, or always? With over 180 votes, 60% of the people said that they never vote early. 32% of the people said sometimes. 8% of the people say that they always vote early.
Wow.
You want to go around the room really quick and say whether you vote early? I do not vote early. I vote day of.
Well, yeah, and we discussed this a little bit already, and the answer is no. I usually don't, although last year was an anomaly because I was on vacation.
Did you schedule that vacation not realizing that?
No, yes, I did. I can't believe it. I mean, 2020 of all years, I scheduled a vacation for election week. What am I doing? I remember the whole time I was in Disney World.
Trisha, do
yes
you?
or no? I don't.
I do, but it's only like a day or two early. So I think that gives me plenty of time for any late breaking news or anything like that that would sway my vote.
I don't know if I'm going to be too swayed ahead of it. There would have to be something really crazy happen. But what are you going to do when you need to put that selfie online? Hey, look at me doing my duty voting. You can't do that 2 days early. You have to do it day of.
You get the sticker either way.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Even if you mail it in?
Oh,
Well,
you
that
don't get
changes
it then. No, I vote in person
delivery
early.
guy.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mailed it in. You got to wait 4 days. You get your sticker in the mail.
Oh, that was so much fun. Thanks for inviting me. And go out and vote next week. Don't forget to set your clocks this weekend, too. It's one of those, fall back, so you get an extra hour, which is fun. Go online. Mark Reardon's coming in next. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Rock and roll, turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not a man.
Get your car at your price at Bomarito. Shop thousands of new vehicles at our state-of-the-art sales and service facility. Our product specialists will make your experience quick and easy. Or just browse, view, and buy 100% online with Bomarito Fast Pass.